good evening, Emporia FC fans, and welcome into another exciting season of Emporia FC soccer from high atop the Lions Den at Welch Stadium. Tegan Terhune, your new voice of Emporia FC soccer, joined by my broadcast colleague, Emporia State head soccer coach Jane Grimley-Gunn. And I nailed it, right? Perfect. I've only been practicing that one for 6.5 hours, but hey, I'm glad it worked out. Well, Jane, first and foremost, we know how busy you are, especially this time of year, so we really appreciate you taking the time to come and join us here in the booth.
No, it's awesome to be here. I'm excited.
Well, so I got to ask, when it comes to the start of a new season, what are some of the emotions that are going through these players' minds right now? Because, I mean, a lot of these guys, some are returners, some are brand new, and a lot of them are coming from all around the world, have never played together before. That's got to bring up a lot of different nerves, a lot of anxiousness.
Yeah, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of nerves today. And it's a lot of new information, I'm sure, too. And I'm sure they're even implementing different things to last season. So just getting a hang of it and trying to get into a rhythm, I think, is a big thing with the start.
Well, I do have to ask, too. I mean, obviously, as people will see a little bit later tonight, we are playing here at Welch Stadium, which is a football field, but not the kind of football that they're probably expecting, of course, American football. Is there any real difference between playing on, say, a turf field versus a traditional grass field?
Yes, and especially with this field, it's going to be a bit different, too. It's an older turf. It's really catering to football. Some of the dimensions will be different, so length of pass will be important, weight of pass will be important, especially with a turf because it's a little bit more of a slick surface, so it will be different.
Well, that was going to be another question I had. Is I was actually told a little while ago that basically the pitch, as we're calling it here now, it is a bit smaller than what you might see at other places around the league and really around the country. How does that not only maybe affect the team coming in, but even the team that's playing on it, especially when they're traveling to different cities all the time, playing on maybe larger size fields?
It can cater to a team, or it can be a disadvantage depending on their style of play. So if they want to be in those little tight spaces, if they like that, this will suit them. But if not, if it's more of a longer game, it'll be a little bit more difficult.
Understood. Well, I think another big question here right now. How excited are you to be joining us here in the broadcast booth for the second season of Emporia FC?
No, I am. I was here a little bit last year just to kind of get a watch and a feel, and I know a couple of the players, so
Perfect.
it's good to see how things have evolved.
So now talk us through your experience a little bit, just so people understand. We didn't just bring somebody randomly off the street to give us color analysis. You have a very decorated career as well.
No, thank you. And I'm the head coach here at Emporia State, so I guess that's something. But I have
That's
not.
the only something right there, folks. That's the big something.
I have not done this yet, so this is a new string to the bow, I guess you could say.
You've never been a pundit before?
No,
Is that the
I
right
know.
term? Pundit?
I heard I was a color commentator. I had to Google that before I got up.
Well, we're not going to ask you to debate the difference between red and fuchsia. I promise you with that one. So, personally, I've been a color analyst. I've been a play-by-play commentator. I've been a recorder, whatever it may be. I still don't know how we got the term color commentator, but I'm sure we can figure that out at some point. But nonetheless, we do appreciate you coming in here and sharing your expertise with us. And of course, this is just the kickoff. It's a preseason match, and that's my last question before we go to a break here. When you look at that and you hear the term preseason, I think a lot of people write that off as it's not as important as the regular season. How important is it really, though? I mean, considering the fact that this is the first time these teams are probably really getting to play with each other in a real game environment.
We always say every result matters, right? Like you can say it's not important, but end of the day, you want to win and you want to start to see things fall into place. So I think this will be a real good test to see who's going to be in the starting lineup, who's going to get consistent minutes. So it does matter for sure.
Fantastic. Well, it is the preseason opener for the Black Lions here at the Lions Den, Welch Stadium in Emporia, Kansas. We'll be back here in just a little bit with a little bit of a look at the matchup here tonight. Of course, the opponent coming in, Riley FC. Going to be a very interesting one. We'll bring you some historical statistics and look ahead to some key matchups. You're watching Emporia FC Soccer right here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Hello, Lions fans. Welcome back into our pregame coverage of Emporia FC, their preseason opener here in the Lions Den at Welch Stadium, taking on Riley FC. Do want to let you all know, if you are getting ready for the football action, we're going to be just a little bit delayed here tonight. We're actually looking at about a 7:15 start time here this evening, so make sure you stay tuned. But while we're waiting, gives us a lot of time to look at this matchup here between these two teams. And again, Tegan Terhune, joined by Jane Gunn up here in the press box. It is a mouthful, but you know what? I'll get it eventually. By the last game, boom, we'll nail it. Well, Jane, some historical facts here. The last time that Emporia FC and Riley FC actually matched up, it was a victory for Riley FC. It was a 3-2 win. When you have a victory like that over somebody, even if it's a slight margin by one goal, I mean, that's still got to give you a very big mental advantage over them.
Yeah, and I think it's also a bit of like hunger for it back, right? Especially with a 3-2 result, you weren't far off. And if you made a couple different decisions, how would the outcome have changed, right? So I think it's an exciting opportunity.
Well, you mentioned not too far off. You're talking, of course, about a shutout.
Yes. Sure.
I got to think too. You know, if you're on the losing end of that, you know, it's got to make you not only hungry, but does that play with your head a little bit? I mean, you needed one goal, you just weren't able to get it. I mean, that's got to give you a little bit of doubt.
Yeah, I think at the same time, it's always a mental challenge to play against someone that you know is going to be a good side and talented, and as it's motivating, but it's also difficult.
Well, it is worth noting, though, Emporia FC in their first preseason game against Manhattan against K-State's men's club, they managed to pull a draw out of a defeat there with a last-minute goal in the final 10 minutes of the matchup. I mean, that's got to be a confidence booster, knowing that you were just about 10 minutes away from losing your first preseason match. You come back, you managed to pull away a draw.
Yeah, in soccer, we love a draw. It's not the end of the world, and I think it's a good, like, it can propel you into the next thing if you start to have a bit of confidence and get some success.
I feel like I'm going to be the Ted Lasso of this whole production right now, because I'm sorry. I'm an old school, raised American. We don't like ties here. That's in the Geneva Convention. You can't have a tie.
No, there's nothing wrong with a tie.
Nothing wrong with a tie. Fair enough. Well, I think another big thing, though, when you look at this matchup, you look at the size, you look at the way the two teams like to play. Riley FC, they are a military-based team, very strong, very well-conditioned, and you think military, well, disciplined as well. Then you look at Emporia FC, I mean, taking nothing away from them, but they are a very opportunist kind of team. You know, they really like to pass that ball around. I believe the term would be tiki-taka, is that right?
Tiki-taka.
Tiki-taka. I'm learning, folks. We'll get better and better as we go. But can you explain the difference between those two types of play?
Yeah, so I think the tiki-taka is the one that's a bit more foreign to non-soccer fans, but it really just means connecting quickly in a lot of triangles. So they want to keep the ball, they want to maintain possession, play quickly between players. You won't see it be as direct. They may not kick it as far, but they'll try to move the ball pretty quickly around players if they can.
So what they're doing is trying to open up the opportunities.
Correct.
Now, when you have a team like Riley FC, they're big, they're strong, they like to outmuscle their opponents. What are you looking at them from an attacking position? I mean, I got to imagine they're just going to try and run it down your throat.
I would imagine the same, and I think they probably have a bit of a soccer knowledge, but they're going to have to lean into their physical attributes too. And for me, if you're playing against a team that's tiki-taka, there is a negative connotation sometimes that they like pretty soccer and they're kind of like pretty boys, and I think you could definitely give them kind of a bit of muscle, and that might throw them off their game a little bit.
Now, you're speaking to a former hockey player right now. You know, for me, muscle is always a big thing. I mean, when you can bang somebody into the boards or knock them around, you're usually going to come out with a pretty sizable victory. But of course, here in the world of soccer, I mean, size doesn't always play to your advantage, especially if you are a very physical team. You have to be able to use it wisely.
Yes, and I think sometimes there's an advantage to being smaller. You can draw fouls, you can be a bit smarter about decisions. So it's not as prevalent as I think hockey or maybe football, where size is key, but there is a level of it. If you can use it, it can be an advantage.
You're not going to see a lot of 320-pound midfielders out
Correct.
there trying to get in the way. Well, again, I mentioned the military strategy that probably goes into Riley FC here, but they are also a team. They play a lot of different teams from a lot of different leagues. Do you see that as an advantage or a disadvantage? Because I got to imagine in a lot of different leagues, you know, you have a very common style of play, and it's easy to kind of get into that rhythm, whereas when you're playing teams from different leagues, the style's got to be all over the place.
Yeah, I think it could lean into them being a bit adaptable, like if they're able to suss out the opponent and kind of still, you know, impose their will on them. I think that's a strength, but it's also difficult because you don't know what the level is like that they're used to. This could be a higher level game to what they've experienced recently.
So now, if you are coaching a team that's playing a different team in a different league each time, what is your strategy going into each matchup?
I would just do what we do well. Really just focus on us, because I don't know what to expect from them, especially if you're looking at results. They may be a bit scattered, knowing that they're playing against all different teams in different leagues. So I would just say, what can we do really well, especially in a preseason match where it's let's test things out, let's see what sticks and what works and what doesn't.
Well, we're going to take another break here in just a moment and get ready for kickoff here. But before we do, I want to take a look at a player to watch here for Emporia FC, and that's Mario Sandoval, a returning player here and an Emporia native. So, a little bit of home field advantage on two fronts there, wearing the home crest and also being from Emporia. He was a leading scorer for Emporia FC last year, 2 goals, 3 assists. I mean, not astronomical numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but really I think what they look for him is the abilities, his ability to open up opportunities, especially in the midfield. And when you're playing a stronger team like this, someone that's a little bit bigger, a little bit meaner, you got to think that just getting across that midfield is the big challenge.
Yeah, and I think having a combinations of goals and assists is impressive, right? Because it's showing that you're creating chances for yourself, but also for others. So I think he would be someone that could hopefully unlock some things for their team.
Being a selfless player.
Yeah.
I mentioned I'll be the Ted Lasso up here, still kind of learning and getting my bearings back. It's been a while since I've gotten to call a match, but I think the one thing that when I use the Ted Lasso reference, the extra pass, and how important that really can be in basically either scoring the goal or missing out entirely. Can you talk a little bit about how important it is to be a selfless teammate, especially when you have opportunities, say maybe on a 2-on-1 or even on a 3-on-2?
And I think it's really picking your moments. I think Emporia FC will have a bit of flair, which is good. You still want to take those moments and be selfish where there's an absolutely great opportunity. You have to go for it. But you have to choose wisely and know yourself and your own skill set. Is this something that I'm capable of, or would my teammate be better suited for the situation? Am I setting them up for more success? So.
Well, and you also only have a split second to make that decision. So, I
Correct.
mean, I got to imagine that's when just your basic skills and your muscle memory really plays into it.
Yes, and just leaning into experience and doing what feels right now.
Fantastic. Well, that is our look up here at the matchup tonight. Again, it's Emporia FC taking on Riley FC in the Emporia FC preseason home opener from the Lions Den. Again, Tegan Terhune joined by Jane Grimley-Gunn, the Emporia State head soccer coach here on the campus of Emporia State University. If you're watching at home, we do appreciate you tuning in here to our coverage of Emporia FC, but if you happen to want to watch it on your phone and come on down to Welch Stadium, we'd love to have you down here, so make sure you make the trip on over. One last question, Jane, before we get going, and that is we are in the middle of Kansas.
Correct.
And we are in the middle of burn season. And as you can probably tell, and as you'll be able to see a little bit later tonight, it's a little hazy out there right now because a lot of people are out burning pastures and getting things wrapped up for that. How much of a factor does that play, just the air quality?
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
I've been wondering, why is it so hazy?
Well, you've only been here for, what, a year?
Yeah, about that. I hope it's not a huge factor, but yeah, that's something that I think is probably unique to Kansas to consider in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see and maybe talk to some of the players afterwards, see if it played a factor in there. We're going to take our final break here on your Emporia FC pregame coverage. When we come back, we'll get you starting lineups and get to the action. It's Emporia FC playing host to Riley FC in the preseason home opener right here in the Lions Den on the campus of Emporia State University. For Jane Grimley-Gunn, I'm Tegan Terhune. Make sure you stick around. We have kickoff coming at you next. And we welcome you back into the Lions' Den here at Welch Stadium. Tegan Terhune joined by Jane Grimley Gunn, Emporia State soccer head coach, our color analyst for the evening. Cannot say thank you enough for her joining us here this evening to give us her expertise. Want to go ahead and get into our starting lineups for these two teams. Again, it is Emporia FC playing host to Riley FC in this preseason home opener. We will start with the visitors from Riley. They will be starting off. Their starting 11 will include Jared Chavez, along with Sareem Gibson, Fakino Sejour, O'Dane Ferguson, Jessen Emilcar, Miguel Martinez, Neftali Diaz, Jesse Diaz, Valje McLean, Angel Rodriguez, and Omar Guevara. They are coached by Cesar Cochao. I hope I'm saying that right. I didn't get a chance to really check with them beforehand, but I'm sure somebody will let us know. Also, assistant coach Martin Humbacano and Diraj Tamang, the manager for Riley FC. Then we flip things over here and we look at the starting lineup for Emporia FC. They will be starting off with Octavio Cruz on defense, joined by George Heindel, the German defenseman. They have captain Kyle Lobo at midfield, Henry Munoz at forward. I'm killing it right now, Jane. Alex Almeida will be at midfield. On defense, Pedro Freire. Midfielder Darwin Velez. Also at midfield, Jeremy Kabanich. At midfield, we have Luis Borin. And at defense, we have Hector Hernandez. In the goal for Emporia FC will be Luan Nascimento. So we'll get you some more information on these players as we get into the matchup here this evening. But again, an exciting time here in Welch Stadium. It is time for Emporia FC soccer. As the national anthem just wrapping up, players getting ready to kick things off. The official introductions going on down on the field gives us a chance to look to our keys to victory from our expert here in Jane Grimley Gunn. And, well, Jane, we've already talked a little bit about the matchup here. Obviously, Riley FC, very disciplined, very big, very tough. And you look at the tiki-taka style of Emporia FC, who do you give the advantage to in that kind of a matchup?
I'm a bit biased. I actually think I watched this game a year ago when they played the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to go for Tyler FC, just based on that initial experience and a little bit of bias from seeing it before. But I think with a clean slate and slightly refined execution, Emporia FC have a good shot.
I like that. So when you start out in this matchup, how much of this are you just kind of trying to feel things out before you really start to press on your opponent?
That's up to the coach. You could really go in there and start to dictate things from square one, or they could assess a little bit. So it depends how front-footed they really want to be.
That's fair. Again, the player introduction going on the field. That gives us a chance to also say thank you to many of our wonderful sponsors who are helping us bring you Emporia FC soccer once again. That includes Emporia Fitness. No sign-up fees, no contracts, just fitness. Visit them today at 2812 West 12th Avenue in Emporia or call 620-342-2348. And Tacos Ibarra, the perfect place to fuel up before game time or to meet up with the crew after the final whistle. Stop by Tacos Ibarra at 1520 West 6th Avenue across from the bowling alley. And Aerotin, the official clothing partner of Emporia FC. Do you want to dress like a champion? Visit the Emporia FC store at emporiafc.com today. Again, the Black Lions are getting ready to take on Riley FC. Just a quick reminder for those of you that are just now tuning in, the last time these two matched up in the regular season last year, it was a 3-2 victory for Riley FC over the Black Lions. Riley really out-muscling Emporia FC en route to that win. Now, it is worth noting, though, in that matchup, Emporia FC was actually without their starting goalkeeper, really any goalkeeper in that matchup, Jane, because he got injured in his first 5 minutes, and then you basically have to pull a guy off the bench and say, hey, put the gloves on, you're going out. I mean, that in itself has to really be impressive for the fact that they came away with just a 3-2 loss, considering they didn't actually have a goalkeeper in goal.
And I think that moment for your team is so deflating when you see your goalkeeper go out and we're like, shoot, who's got to step up now and do that? So I think hopefully now with a little bit more of a roster set, it's going to be a bit exciting.
Well, so, the one thing that we always talk about in American football, obviously, is the next man up mentality. And I know that that's pretty universal across all sports. But really, when it comes to soccer, I got to imagine you've got 11 players out there. Anybody could go down at any time, especially with how physical this game is. So you have to constantly be ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, I would say a lot of players are comfortable in more than one position as well. I don't know how it is for other sports if there's that level of versatility, but soccer is very fluid and the situation really varies. So I think anyone can really step up on a given day and make a difference.
Well, and I will mention, I had said my background was in hockey and things like that. I know I've had to play different roles before. I was what you would call a two-way forward. I played defense and offense, but the thing is, if you're not planning to play defense that day, if you're planning on you've got all your defenders ready to go, you really just focus on one area of the game. So how do you mentally prepare yourself to possibly have to go in and play different positions at a moment's notice?
I think it's a challenge. I think it's probably similar for hockey, soccer, any sport is you have to be able to adapt, right? Because I think the opponent can change, the situation can change, your position can change. So much can evolve as the game goes on, and if you're static, you're going to get caught behind.
Well, that's fair. I guess we'll have to see what goes on here tonight as the players breaking their huddles, getting set for kickoff here from Welch Stadium. It is the preseason home opener here for Emporia FC. Oh, nope, just kidding. We got to get a few more photo ops before we get things going. Got to get the clock ready to roll as well. As, again, the Emporia FC Black Lions, coached by the one and only Victor Ibarra, as Vic has really put in a lot of work here to get this program in tip-top shape. And, we'll be going through a lot of the background of some of these players that are joining the squad here this year. I think it's worth noting a lot of Brazilians on the lineup here for Emporia FC. And, Jane, I'm sure you can speak from good knowledge and experience here. They don't make bad soccer players in old Brazil.
No, they don't, especially if you're leaning into that tiki-taka style. It'll be something that they're comfortable with, they're familiar with, they're good with the ball. They do it from the time that they're born, to be honest, so it'll suit them.
Riley FC will kick things off for us here in the preseason home opener for Emporia FC. And Jane, just for those who maybe aren't aficionados when it comes to the sport of soccer, talk us through what you're seeing in terms of just the setups here between these two teams.
Yeah, so for Emporia FC, you're seeing a 4-3-3. Now, any team can start in a shape and it evolves through time. Similarly, you're looking at a back four, or what appears to be a back four, but again, for Tyler, that could evolve, and sometimes you'll even throw someone off their track by starting a certain way and then quickly adapting as the game goes on.
Well, Riley FC deep in their own zone right now, trying to get it out. Some good defense being shown, or I should say some pressing here by Emporia FC early on. A little bit of a tangle up there between two players. That was Emporia FC's Luis Borin, who was challenging on that passing play. And when you have a team that's really just kind of passing around, trying to feel things out, Jane, is it better to attack straight up, or do you want to lay off a little bit and let them get relaxed?
Again, I think it really leans into preference, and if I was Emporia right now, I would kind of go for it a little bit at the start, really test them, see what opportunities might open up, and then really make a decision from there. And do we sit in, do we relax a bit, or do we keep going?
Black Lions now in their own zone with possession, just kind of passing it around as we saw. Nice long kick there down the stretch, a header put on by Riley FC. It'll go off. The Riley player trying to get the number right there. We'll get that here in a minute, but a throw-in coming here for the Black Lions doing the duties there. Hector Hernandez, and it goes right off of a body, I believe. Again, trying to see the numbers here. I was crediting them a little too much. I said the numbers look easy to read. I was wrong. Darwin Velez was actually the body it flew off of, as we're back to action here just near midfield. Emporia FC now again with possession on the attack, just kind of going back, and it looks like Darwin Velez is looking for a teammate there in the backfield, and he just read that one a little too early, firing it right off into the cheap seats over there.
I have to imagine there's probably some nerves, especially early in preseason right now.
Well, now 2 minutes gone here in the opening half, as Emporia FC now with a little bit of fervor here starting to push things up, and then losing possession was Alex Almeida. Almeida, though, staying with his man. That's Jared Chavez for Riley FC. He loses possession, goes back to the Black Lions. Now an opportunity possibly opening up here as we got a foot race. The ball will go out of bounds. Last touch by FC, so a goal kick coming here for Riley.
I think that's where you see a little bit of that out-muscling situation, too, where they have a bit more strength, and we weren't quite able to get through.
Once again, ball just kind of bouncing around a few feet here in the Riley zone. They haven't really had a lot of success in the early going, getting that ball out of their own spots here, Jane. I mean, again, are they just being patient, or are they maybe struggling to move that ball forward?
I think both teams are probably feeling each other out a little bit to see where there's going to be openings, how they'll have the most success. So I could see it evolving through time and them having a bit more.
Ball played back to Nascimento. He'll play a little bit of catch there with Octavio Cruz. Cruz goes back to Nascimento towards the Emporia FC goal. Got a man on him. The ball will bang off the shin, as it looked like Cruz was trying to do what we would call in hockey and clear the zone there, but again banged off the shin. I believe that was Ibrahima Diallo for Riley FC. Riley again with possession, turns it over now at midfield. On the attack again are the Black Lions. Looks like they've got some openings here. A nice hard kick, but just a little too strong. Flies right over the Riley goal there, and it'll be a goal kick here for Riley. They're wasting no time getting right back into the swing of things.
For me, that was a waste from Emporia FC. You had a numerical advantage. They were up 5 players to their 4, and they really should have made more out of that.
Hope you guys are listening right there. Gunn not happy with that one. Again, the ball just kind of banging around a little bit there in the Emporia FC side of the field, trying to get back into a good look here as, again, that's Jeremy Kabanik for FC, number 19 out there, trying to move things around now. A little bit of pressure here by Riley. Kabanik, slide tackle attempt right there. Not really getting anything out of it. Ball pops free, and now Riley back in possession again, and really just a lot of trading here. I'm not sure what the official may have called here. I think, is he giving a free kick? Yeah. I don't think he liked that slide tackle.
No, I don't really think there's been much to it. I think Emporia FC is just trying to match a little bit of that muscle, and I think they're doing a pretty decent job so far.
Well, but here comes the big question with that. If you're trying to play to your opponent's style, Jane, especially if you're playing a more physical team, that's going to do a number on your cardio down the stretch.
It sure will. I think they just have to find that right balance of, staying in the game and maintaining that intensity, but still being true to who they are, which in possession I think they have been so far.
Luis Borim was trying to reel in a pass, looking for a golden opportunity for a shot, but it's cut off by Riley FC, who are back in possession now. Ooh, and I think getting a little too close for comfort there was a Black Lion. I'm trying to get the number, but basically just kind of wrenched the arm of the Riley FC attacker, and they're going to get a free kick here awarded by the official.
I think it's important to note this field is smaller, so they are a little bit closer than you might expect.
The guilty party for Emporia FC, Pedro Frida. Luckily, the official didn't see anything other than just a little bit of a tangle up there, so it's not as though he's going to get a card or anything. That's always a good thing, especially when we're only 5 minutes and 45 seconds into the match. Riley now on the attack. Emporia FC getting possession, trying to clear it out here, right on the boundary. And, oh, we get a collision right on the boundary line. Looks like the collision there was between Darwin Velez and Ibrahima Diallo, and Diallo was a little slow to get up there. He was limping a little bit as Velez came sliding right in there, and they just banged shin to shin.
I think they're trying to kind of emulate what they experienced last time in Emporia FC and make it a little bit more of a battle.
Emporia FC now regaining possession. Ball gets played back to Nascimento. Nascimento sends it up the way. Now Emporia FC trying to clear midfield, and they've struggled to do that the last couple of minutes. They've had some good looks on the opposite side of the field, but they haven't been able to get through this Riley defense in about the last 2 to 3 minutes, but I spoke maybe a little too soon. Well, trying a lob pass into the Riley zone there. Believe that was Kyle Lobo, and it just gets cut off at the pass. Ball goes out of bounds once again on the far side. Last touch by Emporia FC. A throw-in coming for Riley. And so far, Both teams with some good looks here, Jane,
Yep.
but neither one really establishing any dominance.
No, I think they're both settling in. I think you're starting to see a bit of it from Emporia FC in their own half, and it really needs to translate to the opposite half.
FC will throw it straight towards the goal. Nice cutoff there by George Heindel, the big German for Emporia FC, but it'll go off. Are they going to say it was last touch by Riley? Yes, they are, as Nascimento getting set to kick it away here. See what he decides to do. Short pass, long pass, he'll short it. Now working it around the box, finally getting it out here is FC. A little bit of a lob pass goes down to Lobo. Lobo works it to the midfield now to Almeida. Almeida leading the pass, but it gets cut off yet again by Riley. And another opportunity where Emporia really could have looked for a shot there, but just gets cut off a little bit.
They're just struggling to break that last line. They're doing a really good job getting into those situations, but just not finding the final player.
Near the far boundary with it is Emporia FC. Riley takes over right at midfield now. Once again, there is Diallo for Riley FC, number 6. Gives the pass off. A nice little feed back to Diallo as he had an opportunity to take a shot, but just couldn't reel it in. It's taken back by Emporia FC. Lost near the 40-yard line, right near midfield. And Riley back on the attack. Yeah, I know. I slipped into American football. My fault. It's the easiest thing I can do right there.
Just have it.
Yeah, just have it. Diallo was trying some fancy footwork there on FC. A correction, actually, that was O'Dane Ferguson. He just got a little too fancy and it rolls out of bounds. So a throw-in goes to Emporia FC, and they're going to try and break through this midfield once again.
It's going to continue to be difficult with the back four that Riley has, and it being so compact on a football field. It's just going to be hard for them to find gaps to really have attacking opportunities.
Well, it looked like a good opportunity for Hector Hernandez to maybe try and get something going there at midfield, but he just stepped out of bounds. And it'll be another turnover here to Riley, who throw it in, and immediately pouncing on top of him right there is Emporia FC. They get it to midfield, and now we have an opportunity right here, a one-on-one, and losing possession was Henry Munoz. It's taken away by Ferguson, and Ferguson will basically just clear it out, let his team reset here. That was another great opportunity. Unfortunately, Munoz just kind of lost the foot battle there.
Yeah, they're getting into the final third, and I think that's a really big thing to be able to start to create chances through time.
Back at midfield with it, Emporia FC. Nice lob pass right down near the 20-yard line here at Welch Stadium. Some fancy footwork being put on here, looking for an opportunity. Another lob pass. Header on the way, no good. But what an opportunity there by Emporia FC.
Yeah, that creativity is going to have to shine through because they are compact. Riley's really trying to make it difficult for them to penetrate centrally in front of their goal. So having those moments of kind of, I don't know, glimpses of greatness, that's what they're going to need.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just a great setup there. Again, the fancy footwork being put on. Henry Munoz was the one with the header attempt, as he looked like he almost had it, just a little too strong. And I think one thing that people don't understand, Jane, is when it comes to soccer, it's not just, a game of attrition. It's not a game of conditioning. It's also a game of angles, because if that ball hits your head at just the right angle, it's going to go exactly where you want it. But if it hits it just an inch to the right or the left, it's not going anywhere you want it to be.
Oh, there's so many angles. Even just looking at the field now and the shapes that they want to create, a lot of triangles, a lot of diamonds, making sure they're available to support. So there's a lot of angles involved.
I don't know why we haven't had you doing commentary sooner, because, man, you are killing it right now.
Well, it's hard to get a hold of me.
Well, I'm glad Victor found the way to get it done. But Darwin Velez works it towards midfield now. Emporia FC back on the attack. Nice lead pass here. Catching up to it is Hector Hernandez. Hernandez now was in a foot race with the keeper, and he just decides to pull off. I don't think he knew he was going to have the angle there as the keeper coming out, doing a great job of basically fending off the attack by Emporia FC.
And both teams are just going to have to refine their passes a bit. That would have been a great pass on the full length of the field. 10 yards too short, it doesn't work.
Omar Guevara, the goalkeeper for Riley FC, as ball back at midfield, now worked over to Hernandez. Hernandez looked like he was trying to set up a triangle pass there between his teammates, and it's just a little too long. Now it's back in the possession of the Black Lions, and Henry Munoz will lose it there, trying to help out a teammate there, get it back, as Riley FC now seems like they're a little scattered here. Tracking down the ball is Valje McLean, and McLean will just kick it out of the out of bounds.
Yeah, that's a sign that there's a bit of pressure and nervousness if they're starting to clear the ball.
Just over 12 minutes gone here in the opening half. Still 0-0 as Emporia FC with some great looks here against Riley thus far, but so far neither team able to find pay dirt. Back on the attack now is Riley FC. Cut off there. Good stop by Alex Almeida for Emporia, and then he'll turn it right back over. Regaining possession is Emporia. With it now is Kyle Lobo, the captain for Emporia FC this evening. Lobo leaves it near the far boundary. Still in possession now, Jeremy Kabanik, tried to squeak something through, but it was just a little wide to the left, and handling it with little difficulty was Omar Guevara. Guevara now going to just yeet it down the field. Trying to handle it there, I believe, was O'Dane Ferguson. Hector Hernandez now with it. He'll work it back to Octavio Cruz, and Cruz will leave it for Nascimento. Nascimento working it to the left side of the field now. Emporia FC doing a good job of ball movement. You mentioned the fancy.
They're trying to draw the opponent out and create some more space because it's condensed space. So they're trying to really move Riley to open up pockets.
Well, we mentioned Mario Sandoval, a returner here for Emporia FC. He has not yet taken to the field, but he's really great about opening up the opportunities there in the midfield. See if Coach Ibarra is trying to do that with his gentleman here. As nice touch there by Luis Borin, and a great shot on goal, but hey, give credit where it's due. Omar Guevara showing he's got some hops, getting a hand on there.
It was a camera save. It definitely, he definitely could have caught that.
Somebody needs to get the photography out there and snap that one. That's going to be a keepsake. It will lead to a corner here for Emporia FC. Doing the duty is Hector Hernandez. Long lob right over all the heads. Nice header there to try and get it under control, but the ball pushed back out away from the goal zone. Now back into the attack was Riley. They were trying to get it back into the Emporia FC side. It's taken away here by the Black Lions. Nice dribbling being done here, and that back four again, just a stone wall stopping anything from getting through.
They're allowing Emporia some space out wide, but it's obviously difficult to create from out there. It's going to be hard for Emporia to shove it down the center.
Hernandez now working it back to Cruz, and Cruz will send it left side to Heindel. Trying to push it back up the way. Nice little cross there to Jeremy Kabanik, and Kabanik gets tripped up, goes flying, and a free kick will be awarded here to the Black Lions.
And this is a great opportunity, being this far from goal, to really get a shot on.
Now, obviously, they look like ants down there. It doesn't look too far from where we can see it, but that is about a 23-yard kick. Thank you for the football numbers down there. Good God. But basically a 22, 23-yard kick. I mean, you're not going to put it in the back of the net from there, are you?
You can. You absolutely can.
Really?
I would expect him to. If he doesn't try, I'm going to be mad.
Don't make Coach mad. Take the shot, kid.
This is a great chance. Even if there's a deflection, even if something goes wrong, it just may set something up for someone else.
It'll be Munoz who fires it. Tried to curl it in, and it's just a little too outside. Again, give Guevara a lot of credit as he's stepping in there and making those saves. Just over 16 minutes ticked away here, or I should say ticked up to. Here in the first half of this preseason home opener for Emporia FC, still 0-0 between Riley and the Black Lions. Coming off the pitch, looks like that will be, is that Darwin Valez? No, that is Jeremy Kabanik. Kabanik comes off. Get you the substitution here in just a moment as another little stoppage there by Guevara.
And this will be another great opportunity for Emporia to get one on frame.
Another corner being awarded, and Hector Hernandez for Emporia FC again will handle the responsibilities here. Going to try and set his team up. Had a great opportunity on the last one. Cleared it over just about everybody, but They just weren't able to capitalize. Nice
Really
send
good
in. Great header, but oh my goodness. It was all but in. That's highway robbery right there for Emporia FC. It was almost 1-0, but Emporia FC back on the attack. Guevara comes out of goal, challenges, and trips up Henry Munoz.
And they've got another corner kick now, which after the second one, I think you have a lot of hope that this could really be the one.
Third time might be the charm here for Emporia FC. Hector Hernandez again back at the corner, and he has been doing a great job of setting his team up on the last two attempts. See if he can finally hit pay dirt here. He would have had it, but that defender was just right back perfectly. This time it's going to be headed out, but recovered by Emporia FC. A long shot goes just a bit to the left. Guevara trying to track it down. Didn't need to. It rolls out of bounds, and a goal kick going Riley's way.
I guess he got a touch on it.
Oh, I guess he did.
Got a touch on it.
Well, you mentioned the dimensions here. It can be a little hard to tell maybe where you are actually into touch and where you're not.
Very true, into touch.
Another corner attempt there by FC. That is their fourth of this matchup. Couldn't get anything there. It was more of a line drive, but Emporia FC regains possession. Currently a foot race going on. Nice little lob pass, but no good again. As Riley FC doing a great job of stopping these up-close attacks. But here we go back to the corner again. Hernandez again setting up to try and break this scoreless tie.
At some point, this has to work out.
Emporia back a little further than the last few times. A nice header there. As Darwin Velez regains possession. We had a little bit of a collision, and Velez is down. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Oh, nope.
It's a great location for a set piece, though. They're getting a lot of really good opportunities close to goal.
All right, Coach. I'm going to put you on the spot
Sure.
here. Was Velez, was he really in a lot of pain, or do you think maybe a little bit of acting going on there?
I think because he looked like he was in a lot of pain, he did a good job.
That's a political answer if ever I've heard one right there. But nonetheless, FC with another opportunity, this one from 20 yards out, to try and take the lead. Run up. The shot. Perfect goal! Emporia FC on the scoreboard! And the Black Lions jump out in front of Riley FC. The goal at 1950, Emporia FC jumps out in front of Riley FC. You mentioned it, Coach. It was going to happen at some point. It finally broke through there. I think that you got to give Velez an Oscar, a Golden Globe, something, because without that acting, he is not going to have that opportunity to score.
No, it's a great distance, and it was a really well-placed set piece, so he should be proud of that.
Sorry, my reaction might have been a little bit delayed. I was trying to make sure it went in, but nonetheless, we are back underway here already.
And they are now on the front foot.
Another opportunity sliding in on it there was Almeida. He won't get it, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. I believe they signaled offsides, which, again, to all of our American watchers here who are enjoying soccer for the first time, you don't get the offside rule? I don't either.
It's a tough one.
Luckily, we have an expert who can try and explain it to us.
I'm not sure I want to.
Well, I know there's a whole different. I mean, there's several different ways that you can be offsides. I mean, is that correct?
If it's the last two players back, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So it can be the goalkeeper, it can be a second defender, but yes, they have to really time their run appropriately to make sure they're not further.
I'm assuming it can also be referee's discretion.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, nonetheless, FC definitely re-energized by that big goal there by Luis Borin. They're going to try and capitalize on it. Nice lead pass down the way. Tracking it down is Almeida, and Almeida just a soft little touch, and I think he was hoping it would just bounce right in. It just went a little wide right.
And if they keep this momentum up, I could see this game really, being kind of put away early if they can do it.
Just over 21 minutes gone here in the first half. Emporia FC up 1-0 over Riley FC. As ball goes out of play again, a throw in here for the Black Lions.
And you could see Riley starting to get a bit frustrated, and that's a really great point for Emporia to really just drive it down their throat.
Well, when you're playing against a team that's more muscular and a little bit more of a powerhouse, you got to think when they're not able to push you around like they want to, that's got to get in their heads a little bit.
Oh, I can imagine they're very frustrated with how this has started off.
I got to ask, when you're a team that can really kind of have your way with anybody out there on the pitch, and you're getting beat by the fancy soccer, I mean, does that kind of boil your blood a little bit?
I wouldn't know because I don't think I'm the first. I don't think I'm necessarily the coach who likes the physical side.
Fair enough. I can respect that. No doubt at all. Riley FC now back on the attack here, trying to even up this match. We trail at 1-0. Tracking down the loose ball was Fekino Sejour. Never stopping, and they just fire another one home. Goal there for the Black Lions. The lights are on, bright, flickering, and flashing to celebrate another one here for the Black Lions. What an effort. That one going to Henry Munoz.
And they're really just starting to expose them in some of their weaker areas in the back line and finding those pockets of space to really exploit.
Well, Munoz not resting on his laurels, already looking for another one here as he starts to press against Riley right off the kickoff. A little bit of a challenge there by Darwin Velez. Knocks a man down. Referee says play on.
It has to give you some confidence after those two goals going in that you could have the next one.
Absolutely. And now Riley definitely looking like they're trying to press a little bit more. They're starting to collapse there in the Emporia FC zone a little bit more than what we saw earlier. They're bringing more guys.
Right. They're going to have to figure out a way to get onto the ball to create chances for themselves, or else this is going to be a painful game for them to experience.
Samuel Felix now for Riley FC was trying to break through the defense there of the Black Lions. That's not going to happen. A nice little stop there by Hector Hernandez. Hernandez clears it out back towards midfield. Getting a foot on it there for Riley is Fekino Sejour. Now he'll work it over to the left side of the field to Kareem Gibson, and Gibson will push it back up towards the FC, or I should say the Emporia FC zone, but it's taken away once again by the Black Lions. Hector Hernandez with it now, dribbles through his feet. Right near the 40-yard line here at Welch Stadium. He'll fire it just across the way. A lot of passing going on here for FC, and you mentioned that's that tiki-taka style right there. They're going to try and look for opportunities. They're going to be very patient and let it open up, and it seems like they've been doing that for the last 24 minutes.
Yeah, and they're trying to get additional players involved and really get their back line involved, so it's difficult for Riley to get out by having, a numerical advantage.
Riley FC again trying to push it up towards midfield. It's worked to the right side there by Ferguson, and it flies out of bounds. Last touch by Riley. Throw in coming here for Emporia. Working backwards now to Nascimento.
This is a really risky strategy for Riley. They just pressed with 3 players, and you're just going to see big gaps in the midfield really be exposed, and this may allow Emporia even more joy on the ball.
A little bit of fancy footwork there right near the boundary line. And Emporia FC that is, really just seeming very content with just passing it around here and letting Riley kind of make the mistake for them as we get a challenge there, trying to read the number of the defender for Riley as we've got a Emporia FC player down. Believe that is Fekino Sejour with the challenge. And the official, some teammates coming over to check on the downed Lion.
And you can see Fekino Sejour, he's just getting a bit frustrated and he's making some reckless decisions. And as a defender, that can be a really dangerous mindset to kind of be in.
Well, the man in black back on his feet. Again, trying to read the number from high up atop of the Lion's Den here. This is why we have preseason games. Work out all the bugs, you know what I mean? Hector Hernandez at midfield. He works it back to Octavio Cruz. Cruz leaves it for Nascimento. Nascimento being pressured there, gets it off pretty easily. He's really again, they're just kind of making Riley run all around this field, and you got to think that's wearing them down on top of being down by 2 goals.
Yeah, and Riley's really just struggling to connect, and if you can't get on the ball and you can't get in possession for long enough, you're just going to get really tired really fast.
Nice idea there as they were trying to leave it for Munoz to really fire another one in there, but coming out of the challenge was Omar Rivera, and he gets it. He'll send it back the other way now.
And Emporia is finding some really good moments to be a bit more direct. They're keeping the ball, in the middle third, but when they see that opportunity to exploit, they're taking it and they're making the most of it.
And it looks like we will get another offside signaled here by the officials. And yes, that will be the call. So Riley FC will regain possession with a throw in here. And, sorry, nope, that's a free kick. Did I mention it's been 9 years since I've called a soccer match? Tell us you're getting back on the bike without telling us you're getting back on the bike.
It's not super common to do a substitution on okay, you just moved it forward 5 yards. I hope the referee was aware of that.
A lot of players coming off here for Emporia FC. A lot of new ones coming on. Get you those numbers here in just a moment.
I think that's a signal. Emporia FC is pretty comfortable. They're ready to rotate and get some fresh legs in to see what can happen next.
Well, I saw Edwin Maciel coming out there, number 21 for Emporia FC. Also Gabriel Morera as FC now looking to press yet again. Miguel Albuquerque out there for the Black Lions as well, number 28, as they lose possession right out of bounds into the FC bench. Trying to reel it in there was Gabriel Morera for Emporia FC.
And Emporia is just going to have to get situated again now with this big rotation just to get some more players getting into the rhythm of it and starting to get situated and comfortable.
Well, we are approaching the 30-minute mark of the first half. And, Jane, when you're trying to maintain momentum here against a team that you're already up on, is it a good idea to switch out that many players? I mean, I know the idea of fresh legs, but
you might lose a bit of the momentum. You might also get, a bit more excitement and energy in a new way. But I think during preseason, it's imperative because we have to see, new players, see what works, see what sticks. So I think it's the time to try it.
Emporia FC still with possession in their own zone. Ball worked back to Nascimento, and Nascimento, whoo! Almost lost it right there.
Really
you scared
risky.
Me.
Oh, it was not good.
No. Talk us through what was happening right there.
It was just a negative pass that I think he thought he had under control, and he's just very fortunate his teammate passed it outside of the frame of goal, or it may have been a goal conceded.
Well, we are certainly happy not to have that happening right now as we're back to it here with a corner kick for Riley. Trying to get a hand on it there was Nascimento, but he didn't need to as somebody thankfully got a head or a foot in there and cleared it out. And it looks like Riley FC were the ones doing it. They were trying to capitalize on the opportunity, but they just fired it a little too wide.
And that's what Riley's really going to need is an opportunity to capitalize so they can get back into this game, regain momentum, and make it more of a competition.
Well, and it seems like the change in legs out there for Emporia FC hasn't slowed down their tenaciousness as they're still being very aggressive, especially there at midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now it's just a matter of really seeing out this half and making sure to continue to impose what they've been successful with.
Ball goes out of play once again. Last touch by Riley FC. Goes back to Emporia. Nascimento hasn't really let the leg loose just yet here too much tonight. He's been favoring the short passes. And right there, he said, watch, I can do this.
And that's a little bit of the tiki-taka style that they like to play. Is they want to keep the possession of the ball. They want to keep the ball on the floor. So they will encourage some of those short passes.
Fair enough. Sliding in there to stop the momentum for a moment was Christian Barrera of Riley FC. And Barrera, I saw his idea, but didn't really pan out there. As Emporia back possession and now really starting to crank on them.
And this is where Riley could be dangerous. It's this counter-attacking moment when Emporia does get numbers forward because they want to keep the ball and they want to do that. If they can go quickly, they may find a little bit of success.
Barrera tried to get it through the wall of Emporia FC, but they stop it cold once again. They regain possession. Back on the attack are the Black Lions, and well, right there, I think that was just a little bit of a miscue as Kareem Gibson cuts off the pass that was intended for Henry Munoz.
Yeah, I think it's important Emporia doesn't lose their identity and start to go a little bit longer and force it because they think more goals are there, just to be composed and find those right moments to strike.
Nice slide there. Trying to work through the defenders for Emporia FC, but unfortunately a whistle came just a little too soon. That was Joel Victor of Emporia FC. As the free kick awarded, fire down the way. Nice header there by the defender for the Black Lions. Clears it out, but it is going to set up a corner for Riley. And we saw just a little bit ago, Jane, that Riley, they know how to take advantage of a corner. It just didn't pan out for him on that first.
Yeah, and I think this might even be a throw. But either way, from this distance, you should be able to create a really solid attacking opportunity.
And you are correct. It will be a throw-in.
And we have to remember, this field is narrow. It's a good bit more narrow than a natural game field, so they're going to be into the 18 very quickly.
Well, Riley had a chance to regain possession. They kind of just let it go. Now Emporia FC back on the attack here, right near midfield. Nice slide attempt, but it won't do anything as Riley maintains possession. Miguel Martinez with it now, right near the boundary. Fires it across the way to the feet of Jessen Emilcar. And Emilcar immediately being challenged by two Black Lions. He'll fire it off the rear end of one. Trying to read the number. I know I'm getting old when even my glasses aren't working. It's okay to laugh. I realize where I'm at in life. It's okay.
Yeah,
I've made peace with
it.
I feel that. We are approaching the 10-minute to go mark here of the first half. Almost 35 minutes gone so far in what has been a one-sided affair, at least on the scoring side here, in favor of Emporia FC. They lead Riley 2-0 as we get near the end of this first half of action. Nascimento looked like he was going to let it loose, but instead the short pass, again, that tiki-taka style, just a lot of trying to draw the opponents to them here. Doesn't have to be super fancy, but it's got to work as they turn it over now. On the attack is Riley. Nice clear in the goal by Octavio Cruz. He gets a little love there from Nascimento, saying, whew, I owe you a steak dinner after that one.
And that's the risk that they play with playing such a possession-based style, is you may get picked off in dangerous areas.
Octavio Cruz, though, did a great job of just hanging back. He knew that there was a possibility that ball might be coming back towards their net. Covers for Nascimento. It sets up a corner here for Riley, but once again, the defense of Emporia FC able to stymie that for a moment. A throw-in coming here from Miguel Martinez. Martinez will give it over to, I believe that's Kareem Gibson, who turns it back over to Emporia FC, and the Black Lions wasting no time. They are back on the attack. Gabriel Moreira will have it kicked away, so he loses possession. They're going to actually say it was last touch by Moreira, but doesn't matter. He gets it right back. Moreira gets a little bit of a shove from Christian Barrera, and Moreira is more focused on getting a call than he was following the ball. And I understand you want that opportunity, but in that situation, I mean, is it better to just go ahead and follow the play?
You just got to let it go. The referee's not going to change their decision at that point.
FC back with the attack here. That's Emporia FC. As Riley now regains possession. Going with it was Fekino Sejor, and Sejor, nice little pass over the right side. He left it a little long, but it is recovered. Sejor has it now, trying to work it through the defenders. It's cut off and turned right back over to Riley. Now on the capable feet of Christian Barrera, and Barrera's generated a few opportunities here tonight for his team, but nothing that's been very meaningful, at least in terms of a scoring opportunity, as Emporia FC right back on the attack now.
This is a great opportunity for them.
Great ball handling. Henry Munoz dribbles through the defenders, but it gets poked free.
And this is just a really important moment for Emporia FC not to get complacent and just be able to see the half out, discuss in the locker room at halftime, and make any adjustments they need for the next half.
The throw-in coming here for Riley. Again, they trail Emporia 2-0 in the winding minutes of this first half. Good challenge there by the Black Lions. Will result in them regaining possession. Throwing it in was Miguel Albuquerque. It's taken away by Riley and given right back to Emporia FC. What a shot from 30 yards out. I believe that was Morera who let it go. And Guevara, once again in net for Riley FC, makes the stop. Well, win or lose, I think Riley's going to need to buy Guevara a couple drinks or a dinner here tonight, as it could easily be anywhere between 5 to 4-0. Guevara has kept his team in this one. A little bit of a fight for the ball there as Joao Victor for Emporia FC clears it out. Goes back to Riley FC now, right off the foot of Fekino Sejur.
And you're seeing Riley start to string a couple of passes together, more so than they did early in the half. And that's going to be really key for them. If they can manage to keep more of the ball, they're going to get less fatigue and they're going to start to generate chances.
So I got to ask you this. If you're down by 2 right now, the half is starting to wind down. Are you basically just playing, preservation soccer at this point, just trying not to give up another goal more than trying to score your own?
I think it's that, and also just kind of assessing the situation. I think Emporia has lost a little bit of their composure, their structure, their organization. So if there's another goal to be had, it would feel a lot better walking into the locker room 2-1 than 2-0.
I don't know. I do enjoy a good old Donnybrook towards the end, just letting it fly, but I'll have to take your expertise on that. I will take your expertise on that one. Ball goes out of play. It'll go to Riley FC as trying to maintain possession there. We're the Black Lions. Just you mentioned that slide factor here with the turf field, Jane. I think we just saw an example of it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's nice to see just in general with the turf that they're able to keep a little bit better possession of the ball, connect some nice passes that may not be possible on a bit more of a bumpy surface.
Yeah, that was Edwin Maciel for Emporia FC, who was trying to maintain the possession there and just lost his footing a little bit. Don't mean to call you out there, Edwin. Hey, I'm just saying. I know if he doesn't like my call, there's not much I can do against him. He's in much better shape than me. I don't want to have to fight him later. Joao Martins out there as well for the Black Lions, number 14, as the ball worked back to Nascimento. Nascimento firing it up the way, about 30 yards out. Now trying to push it down the field again are the Black Lions. I think they may have gotten away with a possible handball violation, as it was a little high up there on the arm, but it doesn't matter as he fires it right over the top. Another golden opportunity here for Emporia FC. Unfortunately, they come away a little bit worse for wear there, as we have 5 minutes to go in regulation here. We'll see how much added time there will be before we call it a close on the first half.
And they are doing a good job just continuing to create and make a lot out of those chances when they are arising.
Back out for Emporia FC, we have George Heindel, the big German. Joining him out there will be Jamie Alvarado as number 13 coming out for FC. And again, you mentioned, Jane, that you want to feel things out here in the preseason, give your guys a lot of time, kind of see what's working, what's not working. If you are the coach right now, if you're Coach Ibarra and you're seeing how your team is really operating, despite all the substitutions here in the early going, I got to imagine your decision is not an easy one as to who might be starting when the regular season kicks up.
No, and I think that's a great thing, and hopefully it gives them a lot of confidence, as a team, as a whole, as a coach, that regardless, you still have someone who's qualified and capable to step up into the role.
Jeffrey Linares out there for Emporia FC as well. As the ball fired down the stretch by Guevara of Riley FC, it's taken back by Emporia at midfield. Some good touches there on the ball But a lot of challenging here from Riley. Again, that military discipline of Riley FC, it seems like it's kind of boiling over into more of an attack rather than strategic plan right now. Is that maybe just a byproduct of being down 2-0, or do you think that that's probably what their plan was?
I think it could be a bit of just their identity and what their plan was, and I think it will cater to them as the game progresses. If they can continue to be disciplined and maintain intensity, especially towards the end of the game, things may start to fall into place just later on.
Nascimento sends it down the way. Riley will regain possession here. It'll be Jared Chavez as he'll fire one down the stretch. Nice stop there. I believe that was Octavio Cruz. And the ball rolls out of bounds. Last touch by Riley FC. It'll go back to Emporia. Luan Nascimento, who's done a pretty solid job in net here for the Black Lions tonight, will fire it off. And it looks like we're having a little communication here between Coach Ibarra and the lead official. There's a Emporia FC player down there right near midfield. I can't tell if he's got, oh yeah, he's walking hard. I believe that's Henry Munoz. Oh man. Trying to get a clean read on the number. Actually, I think that's, I stand corrected, that's Jaime Alvarado. And Alvarado coming off it, he is really favoring that left leg. And I mean, Jane, that's got to be expected, though. You're playing such a physical team. I'm surprised we haven't seen more people come off with a little bit of some aggravation or some bumps and bruises already.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just part and parcel with the course is soccer is like this. It's a contact sport, and you're going to pick up a few bumps.
Well, Paulo Filo will come on to replace Jaime Alvarado. We'll try and get an update on him. Hopefully he's okay. We might see him again in the second half. We have a minute to go here in regulation time. Again, we'll see how much added time there is before we wind down the first half. Make sure you stay tuned as we will have some halftime stats and analysis and also a special guest up here in the booth all during our halftime show coming up here in at least 60 seconds. That's the only thing about soccer that always throws me off is, man, is it going to be 3 minutes? Is it going to be 4 minutes? Is it going to be 2 minutes? You never know.
Me too.
Is there ever an occasion where there's no minutes?
Not really. Not unless there's very minimal stoppage, which just is not really the case anymore.
Fair enough. Emporia back on the attack. Another header attempt. This one just a little too high. But again, Emporia FC, even with the clock winding up, approaching halftime, they are not slowing down one bit.
I think it's a very different discussion in the locker room if you're winning 3-0 versus 2-0. It allows you really to maybe rotate some, try some new things, and be more comfortable.
Get the fresh legs out there and keep them out there. Gio Garcia out for Emporia FC. Now on the attack is Jeffrey Linares, and Linares gets banged down. And I don't know if I like that smile, Jane. That scares me a little bit.
I think that if I was the coach, I'd be kicking off because I would say that should be a penalty kick. But you know, there's some bias there.
Well, you're definitely rooting for the right team, that's for sure.
They pay me to be here.
They do?
Yeah, tacos.
Oh.
That's all I got.
You guys are getting paid? No, we're happy to be here, of course, growing Emporia FC. Definitely want to see it continue to expand, and we appreciate everybody that's tuning in here tonight. And also down in the stands cheering on the Black Lions as they are still leading it 2-0. We are into the first minute and a half of added time. Still haven't exactly got the word on how much added time there will be yet. As Nascimento with a nice stop right there, basically just snatching it out of midair. Scared me a little bit because he started to fall backwards. Thought he was going to fall into the goal. I think Coach Ibarra may have had a little bit of a heart attack there as back into the Riley FC zone.
Sometimes those crazy things happen, especially late in the half or late in the game. You just lose a bit of focus, and that's the last thing that you want.
Craziest thing I think I've ever seen from hockey experience was a goalie who literally had the had the puck on his stick and was trying to pass it out, and he just whiffed on it and it rolled right behind him into the net. Overtime goal.
Oh,
yeah.
Those things happen.
As you would call it, golden goal. Oh, I mean, I loved it. I was on the winning side. Yeah, it's terrible when you lose on it, but it's great when you win on it.
Absolutely.
And it looks like that will do it. 2 minutes of added time will wrap up half number 1. It is 2-0 Emporia FC leading Riley FC in the preseason home opener here from the Lions Den at Welch Stadium. We are going to take a quick break. We will step aside, tally some of our thoughts and notes, bring you our halftime show. Of course, I mentioned we have a special guest in the booth here tonight. We will introduce that individual as well, but we do appreciate you tuning in. Again, at the half, Emporia FC leads Riley 2-0 in this preseason home opener. How will things shake out? Well, you got to stay tuned to find out. You're listening and watching Emporia FC Soccer right here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Oh, that's not bad. Back high atop the Lions Den here at Welch Stadium on the campus of Emporia State University, taking Terhune Jane Grimley Gunn here as Emporia FC at the half leads it 2-0 over Riley FC. Two big goals here for Emporia FC coming from Henry Munoz and Luis Borin. And, well, Jane, so far from what you've seen, I mean, obviously you mentioned you kind of give Riley the advantage at the start, just looking at how they play, their style and things like that. But as of right now, I feel like it's been very one-sided.
No, I completely agree. I think when you're looking at genuine chance creation, Emporia FC is definitely taking the cake there. Now, do I think through time that maybe Riley, sorry, could get back into it? Yes, but it's going to take a lot of work.
So if you're Coach Ibarra, what are you saying to your guys right now? I mean, you've had a lot of different bodies coming on and off that field, and a lot of people, different looks, different set pieces, different opportunities. What is the strategy going forward, and what are you conveying to your players?
Yeah, I think they had a really good spell. It sort of at the start of the game, coming in with intensity, trying to match a little bit of
Physicality was still being true to their
identity.
and then they lost that. I think they
Scored two, they made a lot of changes. It started to just dissipate a little bit. So just really starting the half with that same level of focus, drive, intensity, trying to get back on the front foot, I think is important.
Well, we don't want to take too much away from Riley FC because they have had some opportunities.
Yeah.
And really, I'd mentioned earlier on that this could be a much bigger deficit for them right now. But you got to give credit to the goalkeeper and Omar Guevara, who has really stood on his head, as we would say in the hockey world, and has made some amazing saves and really had some good challenges.
Yeah, I mean 2-0 they say it's one of the most dangerous leads to have because it's game's not over, but you feel a sense of security. So I think if they can capitalize on one or two key moments, it could be a very different game.
You know, a lot of people will penalize the sport of soccer for being what they might call slow.
Yes.
But it really does not take long for offense to be generated and for somebody to fire one right past you.
It takes one counterattack. I think they even had a couple of chances where if they put them away, I think this is a very different conversation at halftime.
So looking ahead to the keys to victory here in the second half, where do you think Emporia FC needs to be and where do you think Riley needs to be?
I think Emporia needs to do what they do well and continue to stay true to that and capitalize on their opportunities as they arise because they've had a handful. I think for Riley, they need to get more organized and start to figure out how they're going to have that success because it didn't come consistently enough, frequently enough, and I'm not sure if that's a result of personnel, their approach to the game, strategy, but they may need to make a few changes.
Well, it seemed like they got frustrated a little bit there, especially after that first goal.
I get that, and I think that's part of it too. Is in this situation, how do you respond? And that has to do with a lot of the decisions that the coaches and the team makes, but also as a person, as a player, you're going to have a bit about you to come back in this.
Well, we're just about 8.5 minutes away from kicking off the second half of action here as Emporia FC leads it 2-0 in this preseason home opener. We're going to step aside. When we come back here in a few minutes, we're going to have a special guest joining us up here in the booth. You'll have to stick around to find out exactly who that is. You're listening and watching Emporia FC Soccer right here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Well, welcome back in high atop the Lions Den here at Welch Stadium. Tegan Terhune now joined by, as I promised, a very special guest. Now, you may not know this individual, but you're about to. I would introduce him as the one and only, but then I might confuse some folks. But I want to welcome in our good friend Charlie Brown. Charlie has been a broadcaster for, well, I don't mean this to sound rude, longer than I've been alive, but
Not hardly.
I had to take the shot there.
That's all right.
But the reason why Charlie is here is he's a die-hard Emporia FC fan. He drove 2.5 hours to be here for tonight's preseason opener. I'm kidding, but no, Charlie, actually, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that it's been about 9 years since I've gotten to do soccer in terms of a broadcast. But what's really special is this is the gentleman that put the first headset on my head when I was just a young college student starting out trying to get my foot in the door to live my dream and be a broadcaster. And when I got the call from Victor Ibarra to come and be the voice of Emporia FC, the first person I had to call was Charlie. Because, again, this wouldn't be possible if you hadn't taken a chance on me over a decade ago. And first and foremost, welcome to Emporia.
Thank you.
As I understand, this is your first time in Emporia, isn't it?
That is correct.
Okay, how are we living up to stuff so far?
You guys are doing great.
All right, I'm glad to hear it. Well, you also brought your beautiful wife, Cynthia, with you as well.
That's correct.
How did she enjoy the drive? Did she do most of the driving?
She does most of the driving all the time.
See, that surprises me because he would never let me drive whenever we were actually going to games and stuff like that. I offered, but it was always, nah, just get in the car, kid. We're going.
Well, you did have a tendency to talk a lot and probably would have missed a couple of turns.
That's
here
probably
and
fair.
there,
That's
all
fair.
right. And we were going to Boonville, which is where I'm from, so I knew the way around a little better than you did.
Well, Charlie, talk to the folks a little bit about your career and, why it's been so important for you to not only, share the sports that you do through your talents, but to allow people to really get up there and start to flex their muscles like you allowed me to do so long ago.
Well, I got a very late start in this. You say I've been doing this for a long time. This is actually my 11th year.
Yep.
But what I enjoy is we've always been able to take people in. I work for a company called Prepcast. We do high school and college cast as college games. We're always looking to take in students who are interested in doing this, whether it's production, whether it's camera work, whether it's on-air talent. We look forward to finding kids and getting them started in a career that may take them somewhere, like it's taken you somewhere. It wasn't a big chance that we took with you because you have a personality.
Oh, thank you.
You have the knowledge of the game. You catch on quickly to what's going on around you, and you're easy to listen to. So it was very easy for us to say, okay, that's going to work out. And I was sure this would work out for you. And I didn't know if it would be soccer, but I figured something was going to work out for you. And it has. And I can't tell you how proud I am and Prepcast are of what you've been able to accomplish in this community. Because I keep track of what you do. I watch you on Facebook and other places, and I know the things you're doing for your community, and I couldn't be prouder of you.
Well, like I said, this was a very special moment and one that I could not have without you, and so I really wanted to be able to share this with you. And I tried to convince him to jump on the microphone for a little bit to do some color commentary with us, but I think Jane might have scared him a little bit.
Oh, no, she scares me a whole lot. There's not a little bit involved in that. I have no idea what she's talking about when she's talking about this.
It's just like the old days. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did all the talking. I just ran the equipment.
Fair enough. Well, Charlie, I just again want to say how much of an honor it is to have learned from you, and I'm not exaggerating when I say if it weren't for you, I would not be standing here right now getting to call this match or any other of the games or moments I've gotten to call in my career. I owe so much to you, and I'm so glad that we're able to give you a little bit of exposure here too, because honestly, this is the man behind the man that you see in here right now. So, Charlie, thank you for making the trip, and I hope this won't be the last one.
We'll be back. Anytime you invite me, we'll find a way to get up here for it. And again, I'm just so impressed with what you've been able to do.
Thank you.
With the little bit that we sent you off with.
Wow, it was more than a little bit. But hey, with that said, we're going to step aside for just a moment. We're going to get reset. It's time for second half action right here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. And we are back underway here. Second half action. Tegan Terhune now rejoined by Jane Grimley Gunn as Emporia FC again coming out with a lot of ferocity here. attacking immediately against Riley FC, and we'll get a quick stoppage in play, and we're right back to it here. Again, FC up 2-0 over Riley FC as they are right back into the attacking zone, and it looks like we may have had a change in goalkeeper here for Riley, which is a little surprising considering Guevara was doing a great job for them, Jane.
He was, and I don't think it's probably based on performance. It may just be a change for a number of reasons.
Kind of what we were seeing with Emporia FC, trying to get the fresh legs in there and get some looks at different angles and different set pieces.
Absolutely, and maybe he offers something a bit different in a goalkeeper that they're looking for this half.
Well, once again, Emporia FC on the attack. Riley really getting up in their face this time. They're not really letting them get through as easily as they did earlier. Get a man down there for Emporia FC. No stoppage there by the official as Riley quickly transitioning over to the attacking zone. And Emporia there to meet them, stymieing that offense. But, man, that was not quite the easy effort they had earlier on.
And this kind of replicates the first half where it was very back and forth, covering a lot of ground at the start.
We get a
foul.
Foul there. Looks like we got a man down for Emporia FC, trying to see who it is.
Another great opportunity, though. Similar distance to the set piece goal that they scored earlier. They should be able to make something out of this.
Checking the socks, making sure everything is looking good there. And I believe, if I'm reading that correctly, that's Luis Borin. Borin, of course, with a goal here in tonight's matchup. Want to say thank you again to our special guest at halftime, Charlie Brown, his wife Cynthia, making the 2.5-hour drive from the Warrensburg area to come down for this very special occasion. So thank you for being here as, once again, FC on the attack. A nice stop there by Riley FC's goalkeeper, trying to get the number on him at the moment as the ball will go out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick here for Riley. Little short kick there, handled by Jared Chavez.
Ooh.
Nice stop and counterattack here by Borin, but it won't result in anything in terms of a score. But another good opportunity here by Emporia FC.
And there's the opportunity we've been looking for, and a bit of a foul that maybe in the first half got let go, but now they had the chance to capitalize.
The PK awarded. Borin stepping it back. This is such a cerebral part of the game because there's so many ways you can go with it.
And imagine just jumping in in the second half as the keeper.
Borin scores on the PK! Sorry to everyone whose eardrums I just blew out right there. That is Jacob Baldry, the goalkeeper for Riley right now. Baldry read it perfectly. He went the right direction. He just could not stop it. Great speed there. Kept it loaded. Borin knocked it right in, and Borin has 2 on the night. The midfielder for Emporia FC, making it a 3-0 lead for the Black Lions.
And as a goalkeeper, you're never really expected to save those. You're just at such a disadvantage, but for that to be sort of your second action in the game, that makes it even harder.
Absolutely. Well, Riley going to try and get on the scoreboard here. That's not going to help their case. That one just gets fired way out of bounds. As I want to give some love to our cameraman, our board operator, our timekeeper, everything here tonight in Javen Arndt, who's been hard at work up here, making sure we sound and look good on camera. So big ups to Javen. And, of course, Adrian over here taking some photos of us. If you're hearing some clicking back there, he's just trying to make me look skinny on camera. That's all it is. It's a hard job to do, but we appreciate you doing it, Adrian. Everybody here with the Emporia FC squad hard at work over the last several days trying to bring you a solid broadcast. Certainly hope we've accomplished that as we get a little bit of a tangle up. Hitting the deck there in the FC uniform was Darwin Velez, and Velez has gone down a few times in this matchup. That just tells me he's not afraid of a little bit of contact.
No, and in midfield, that's imperative because that's often where you see it the most.
A little bit of dribbling there by Luis Borin. Again, Borin with 2 goals on the night. His second coming on that PK just a moment ago. Maybe looking for another opportunity here is Henry Munoz. Munoz gets caught up right there on the corner, and they're going to give it to Riley SC. Munoz was doing a good job of just trying to protect that ball right there on the boundary line, but he just gets a little too close for comfort with the Riley defender. Nice little shield there for Emporia as Riley not happy with the call there. You're going to have to explain that one to me, Jane.
That was an interesting one.
Should that have gone to Emporia FC? I mean, we could be honest.
To be fair, my angle at it is really bad from here, so it's kind of a bit difficult to tell.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to tell Javen to get down because he controls my sound volume. So, Javen, you're doing great, buddy. You just do whatever you got to do. Louis Maureen gets the drop there. He'll send it across the other way. It's fielded just about 40 yards out from the goal by FC. Now coming back their way, Octavio Cruz will clear it. It comes back down the other way. It's stopped by Jacob Baldry, the new goalkeeper here for Riley. Again, stepping in for Omar Guevara, who had quite a few big plays there in goal in the first half. Just over the 50-minute mark here in this matchup. Again, Emporia FC out in front with a solid lead, 3-0 over Riley. A little bit of pressuring here at midfield. A collision. That is between Henry Munoz and Riley's Christian Barrera. Barrera was not one of the starters listed, but he's played some pretty big minutes here through much of the first half, now into the second half, starting things out here for Riley. Trying to send the ball back closer, deeper into the Emporia zone. It's cleared out here by the Black Lions. A throw-in coming for Riley. You ever just want to be able to yell at them? Turn around. Let me see your number real quick.
Definitely.
Guys. Playing a little precariously right there. I mean, I understand trying to create the opportunities, but he fires it right along the boundary line there. Could have easily gone back out off the touch, but Riley keeps it in, and it's taken away by Emporia FC. A lot of touches so far. Nobody really establishing dominance until right there. Nice stop by Kyle Lobo. Lobo working it over to Darwin Velez, and Velez will kick it back. Now being handled by George Heindel, and the big German just gets banged to the floor. Guilty party there for Riley is Jessen Emilcar.
And this is a good strategy here for Emporia. If they can just keep the ball a bit and wear the opponent out, it's going to be to their advantage, and it leans into their style of play.
Yeah. Heindel will essentially leave it for his teammate. Now they're working it back up towards midfield. And again, this is kind of what we've seen, is you mentioned that tiki-taka style. They're really executing it well. You got to be happy if you're Coach Ibarra really playing your style of football right now and maintaining a pretty solid possession, not only on the score, but really just in time of possession.
Yes, they have definitely had more of the ball, and I think it's really just fine-tuning some of those moments of when they genuinely want to go forward and attack and not force it. But I think that comes with time.
Pedro Freire works up to Louis Barine. Barine again with 2 goals on the night, 1 away from a hat trick. You got to think, when you got a teammate that's got that 2, everybody's trying to get him in position to get that.
Yeah, and third one. He's got to have a little bit of that buzz, too, of, I'm ready for it, I'm excited, and have some momentum of it.
He feels like the king of the world right now.
Oh, I would.
Luan Massimino keeps it for Emporia. Now works it back up top to Darwin Velez. Velez across midfield. Has it blocked. Trying to dribble around the defender. Being pressured pretty heavily there by Christian Barrera. And Barrera is a name we've been saying quite a lot, as I mentioned. He was not one of the starting 11 here for Riley FC. But, man, he's played some valuable minutes, and he's had some great pressure here on Emporia to break up some opportunities.
Yeah, when they do defend and they press, they do it with a level of intensity, which is impressive.
Well, that's what you get when you get a bunch of military guys out there playing soccer. They're not going to take it easy on you. They're going to push. For sure,
and I think it could be their greatest weakness at the same time, and just doing it in a way that's a bit disorganized is opening up some opportunities for Emporia FC.
Freda fires it in for FC, and it gets knocked out of bounds. He'll throw it back in this time. It comes right back to him. Now firing it up towards midfield. being worked back to Heindel. Heindel, nice dribble behind the back right there. Sends it back up across midfield to Velez. Velez will send it across the other way now. And again, right here in the midfield, we're seeing Emporia trying to draw more players towards them, open up opportunities. Ball fired down near the left corner to Barine. Barine loses the handle on it, goes out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick here for Riley. A little short one right there. And Barine, you can tell he's feeling it right now. He's taking every opportunity he can to pressure a little bit. He wants that big third goal. Ooh. Long shot from the 30-yard line. Believe that was Frida, and it was. Pedro Frida fires that one, and it's just a little wide, but it looked like if he could have just kept it on course, Baldry was going to have trouble handling that one.
Yeah, I think it's great to continue to test this goalkeeper because we really haven't seen a whole lot yet.
Baldry, of course, stepping in for Omar Guevara, who, despite the score at the end of the first half being 2-0, he did have some big moments there for Riley FC, and I think you got to give him credit. I mean, this could have been a much bigger deficit had he not come up big on a few key shots.
And this is really where you're seeing Emporia have success, and what I really enjoy seeing from them is this composure that they have breaking into the middle third and keeping good possession of the ball.
Darwin Valdez will send it into the Riley zone, but it's going to roll out of bounds. Last touch by the Black Lions. It'll go back to Riley FC for just a moment. Then it's basically sent into outer space by Octavio Cruz. Comes back down in play, and ooh, a little bit of a collision there. I believe that was Kareem Gibson who got knocked down. Or are they going to say that it was a foul? I don't believe they are, as Emporia maintains possession. Back into the Riley zone, now trying to open up any opportunities. And here's the thing, though, Jane, when you're so good at being able to open up opportunities in the midfield, do you sometimes struggle when you get up close because you're just used to kind of passing it out a little wider?
Yeah, and really they have so much space in midfield because Riley is sitting in. They've got a number of players back. And it's an already small field, so it's just very compact. There's not a lot of openings and gaps for them to exploit. So we'll take some of those special moments like we saw in the first half for them to really generate a chance that's worthwhile.
Coming out here for Riley FC is Morlu Fobe. He will be stepping in for Miguel Martinez.
And here's that strategy that you see, right, where Emporia is playing negative. They're trying to draw the opponent out and create some more space for themselves to exploit and then hopefully be able to attack a bit more efficiently.
Kyle Lobo, the captain, tried the header there. Riley gets possession back and now working in their own zone. A little bit of back and forth here with Jared Chavez. Chavez yeets it down the other way. Nice header there by Heindel, and out of bounds on the touch for Emporia FC was Louis Barine, and Barine, as Jeremy Kabanek, that wasn't just a typical challenge. He was trying to send a message because if you recall, Jeremy got knocked down in the first half, and he was in a lot of pain. You got to think he might just be trying to get one back there.
Absolutely.
That was not just your friendly little shove. That was, hey, I'm here, buddy. Free kick awarded to Riley. It goes nowhere except out of bounds, and so we'll get a goal kick here from Emporia. Luan Nascimento, great young man. I got to meet him last night, catch up with him a little bit today. I just kind of asked him, how are you feeling about everything? And he goes, I just want to get out there and play, and that's the kind of mentality you want in your players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're probably very eager now. Preseason's super fun, lots of scrimmages, but I'm sure they're ready to really get into some competitive games.
Well, it is worth noting that Emporia FC last year, they were 1-6-3, but 4 of those losses on the season came in the early games when you're still trying to get that chemistry together. You could really see it towards the end of the season last year. That chemistry was coming together, and as I recall, I believe we have 7 to 10 returners from that squad last year, which is only great because you have that nucleus and you have these new guys coming in. That glue between those returning players is only going to carry over.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with that, a lot of draws, and draws are really when you're just kind of on the peak of something great. And if they could just find those few final pieces, I'm sure it'll start to tick over into the win column.
Riley FC awarded another free kick here right near midfield. Well, obviously not going to score from here, but definitely can set up an opportunity as we see a wall of bodies starting to form just out in front of the goal. Nice header to defend there by FC. Believe that was Kyle Lobo. Lobo, captain here tonight for Emporia FC. The midfielder. As we're getting a foot race on here, trying to track it down for Emporia FC.
Just a bit of a foul there, nothing too major.
Again, trying to read the number. It's a lot easier when it's sunny out. Are you starting to feel the struggles that we have sometimes?
Oh my God. Very different seat.
Oh man. Well, now you know. We'll get a little fist bump hopefully during the regular season if we get to call some of your guys' matches.
Oh yeah, I love a commentator. I think it's fun watching at home, and honestly, I just love to hear the funny things that come out of people's mouth. I'm sure people are thinking about that to me now.
It only takes about half a second, and you're basically famous forever.
Love it.
A goal kick coming here for FC. It's Luan Nascimento. He'll work it left side to the big German, George Heindel. Heindel sends it up towards midfield. Recovered by Emporia FC. Pedro Freida working it over to Luis Barin. Barin, again, 1 goal away from a hat trick here in the preseason. Definitely would like to have it, as getting tripped up is Darwin Valles, and Valles hit the deck hard.
And Emporia are doing a really good job welcoming some of that contact, knowing that Riley's probably going to make some reckless decisions and using it to their advantage.
Absolutely. Pops right back up, and we are back underway as a Riley player more concerned with getting his shoe tied right now. Not the best time, buddy. As once again, Valles gets a little tap on the shin. Believe the guilty party there, that's Lanji Yawo Anselmi. Apologize to Mr. Anselmi if I didn't say that correctly. But, man, that's a mouthful. That's the great thing about soccer players, is you're always going to get to test your quick thinking skills on how to say a name.
It's awesome even to see, though, in this game, in this league that they play in, there's so much diversity from so many different countries, and it translates onto the field into what they can bring to the team.
Well, I mentioned we have a lot of Brazilian members here for Emporia FC, but also Mexico. We've got Frenchmen. I keep mentioning Heindel, the big German. We've got one of your husband's countrymen.
Beautiful. Where do you know where he's from?
England.
Okay, that is the prerequisite. Fantastic.
I do. I had it written down somewhere, but I've got a mountain of paperwork right now. You would ask me that question right off the bat. You mentioned the things that come out of people's mouths. I'm wishing that hadn't come out of mine. As we continue, I'll get that note here in just a little bit. Over 63 minutes played here thus far. Emporia FC still leading Riley 3-0 in this preseason home opener. Nascimento has it dropped back to him once again. He'll send it over to Freida. Freida right on the boundary line for Emporia FC. Loses possession. It's now picked up and taken by Morlu Fobe. Fobe will turn it back over now to Kabadik for Emporia FC.
And this is the hard thing. Riley's now trying to press, to get back on the ball, to create something. But when you do that, you do open up potentially opportunities for the opponent, because you're going to be a bit more exposed and vulnerable.
Ball work back to Freida. Freida goes towards midfield to Kabadik. Kabadik will send it down the Riley way, and it's recovered by Riley, who now are trying to press into the Emporia zone. It's tracked down by Octavio Cruz, and got to give Cruz a lot of credit, really living up to his role as a defender right now, as he actually had a save on the night for his teammates in Luan Nascimento. Baldry will send it back towards midfield for Riley. It's taken back by Emporia FC, and getting tripped up there is Henry Munoz. Munoz goes down yet again, and they're just going to leave him laying. Munoz looks to be in a lot of pain right now. Oh boy, that's not a good sign. He's not getting up. As the official will come over to check on him. He's sitting back up, but he seems to be gesturing to that right leg. And it may just be a cramp. We'll hope for it. The way that's looking, he's getting stretched out there. Give some credit to Kareem Gibson coming over to check on his foe.
And these are just preseason matches, as we kind of said at the start. So it is important that you don't want to pick up a major injury in a match like this. It would be very disappointing.
Well, if it's more than a cramp, you got to think Coach Ibarra is going to try and sit him, as Munoz has been very important to this FC offense here tonight. He's really generated some great opportunities for the Black Lions. Helping him to his feet, and he looks to be walking under his own power. That's a great sign. Every time I see a player go down, they start gesturing to their leg. I just remember blowing both my knees out, and it just makes me want to cry. So I'm glad to see he's walking off on his own power, because I always get scared when I see it be a leg injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's some level in soccer that it's hard to distinguish at times, because we do talk a lot about drawing fouls and selling the foul, but it's good to see that he's all right.
Well, Munoz, nonetheless, looks like he will be coming off, and it looks like coming back on. Trying to see if anybody's taken the jersey off. I saw, the only one I see down there is Barine, but he's already been in. So see who they'll send out here. They're sending out Paulo Filo. And Filo, don't have a lot of information on him right now, as again, we're still kind of getting the roster finalized here for Emporia FC. We'll try and get you a little bit of information on him as this match goes on. So we are approaching the 67 mark of this 3-0 game here for Emporia FC as Nascimento comes out of goal. Great stop there. Believe that was Heindel who got in front of the net to stop the shot, but Nascimento with a rare miscue. And, oh, man, he's down. Oh, boy. We're having a flashback to last year against Riley as the only goalkeeper on the squad for Emporia FC went down in the first 5 minutes. And Nascimento has really helped generate some great opportunities. I really hope he's all right.
Yeah, I didn't really see too much there. I actually didn't see where he kind of got that contact or the misstep.
Not sure if he just banged a shin or if something happened when he went for the ball, because you notice he kind of just whiffed on it. And he hasn't really had that kind of a miscue all night long. You got to think, did something maybe pop, or did he feel something that caused him to just kind of have that misdirection with the kick?
Yeah, you have to at least be, really grateful for your back line, because they've done a really good job in 2 occasions now being available for him if something goes awry. So you must take some comfort in that.
Nascimento is back up. He's a little ginger to move there, but he seems to be okay, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, and if I'm Riley FC, I think I would probably try to really test him now for, the next 5-10 minutes and see if they can get some joy out of it.
Thank God you are not Riley FC. Let's hope that they don't take that save. As another opportunity coming out to challenge was Baldry, and another shot just right over the top. That one fired by Paulo Filo. Number 29 there for Emporia FC. Just a little too strong, and I do mean just a little. That actually was probably just a few inches from maybe hitting the crossbar and going in.
It was a great attempt, for sure. And that goalkeeper is playing pretty far out, so they're going to hopefully have more opportunities like that.
Well, and that's where it goes from a line drive to a chip shot, I would imagine, too.
Absolutely. And there was definitely intention behind it. It just didn't dip quite early enough.
FC back on the attack now here. Pedro Frida works it back towards midfield to Luis Barine. Barine trying to shot on goal there. It's picked up by Riley FC, and they're back on the attack as the ball worked back up to midfield. Now back into the possession of the Black Lions. Heindel goes to Velez. Velez now working over to Frida. Frida passes off to Barine. Barine has it taken away, and now Riley back on the attack right in front of their own bench. And, we have a Riley player down now. That's Jessen Emilcar. Just kind of took a seat right there. They will evaluate him, see if he's all right. Gives us a chance to thank many of our sponsors who have helped us bring you Emporia FC Soccer. They include Becker Auto Sales, LLC, dedicated to providing the ultimate automobile buying experience. Becker Auto Sales is your #1 source for buying a quality pre-owned vehicle. And Marlon Flanagan DDS, improving the smile on your face with a smile on theirs. Call today at 620-209-1017. And of course, Emporia State University, changing lives for the common good. Visit emporia.edu to learn more. Of course, thank you so much to Emporia State University for allowing us to play here at the beautiful Welch Stadium. Never really, this is a different angle for me, because usually when there's a game happening at Welch Stadium, I'm down on the sideline yelling, screaming, and running around like I don't weigh what I weigh. Like I actually can get up and jump around a little bit, and then I regret it later.
It's a great environment, though. It's fun to play soccer games here, even though it's not quite built for it. It's a really great environment.
Absolutely. Also want to say thank you to Lawson Painting, your residential and commercial painting contractor for both new construction and remodels. Visit them today on Facebook. I'm not sure if that was the plan that Jared Chavez had there on the free kick, as it's immediately stopped on a low line drive. And we're going to get a foul against Riley.
And there's been a lot of stoppage in play just recently, which definitely disrupts a little bit of the flow of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Jeremy Kabanek was the one that went down. That's like the 5th time he's gone down tonight. Just a hard, gritty-nosed player. What else would you expect from the Frenchman? That's right. We don't retreat. We push forward. It's a new French era right up in here. Vive la France. Yeah, you didn't know I could do that, did you?
I didn't know.
That's right. Trilingual, baby. Let's go. Emporia back on the attack. Nice move around the defender by Louis Barreen. Barreen, again, just 1 goal away from a hat trick. He would love to have it here as he sends it down the other way into a foot race there with Pedro Frida. He can't reel it in. They're going to actually say it was last touched by Frida, as Riley wisely just let it roll out of bounds. That was Kareem Gibson for Riley FC, basically boxing out Frida. Over 70 minutes gone here in this matchup. Again, still out in front commandingly as Emporia FC 3-0. As Riley trying to generate another offensive opportunity. Darwin Velez jumps right in front of the pass, takes it back for the Black Lions. Kyle Lobo works it to the left side of the field, over to Alex Almeida. Almeida pushing it back up now into possession here for Paulo Filo. Filo works it up towards the goal of Riley as they regain possession. A little bit of a collision there between two attackers, and down on the field now is Christian Barrera for Riley.
And that's an important factor, I think, for Riley, because if you look at their bench and you compare it to Emporia FC, they're just not as deep, and it's just going to be harder as the game wears on.
That was a collision with Darwin Velez, and it will lead to a free kick here for Riley, sending it all the way down to the goal. Nice stop there by Luan Nascimento, just reached up. Whatever was going on with his leg a little earlier clearly isn't affecting him much right now, because he just leaped like LeBron and ripped that one down.
He comes out with a great confidence.
Emporia back in their own zone now, trying to clear it out. It goes from Heindel to Cruz. Back to Cruz again. Now pushing towards midfield is Riley.
And this is where we're seeing it to be a little bit difficult for Emporia FC. When Riley is a bit more organized behind the ball and not just recklessly pressing, Emporia has had some difficulty breaking through.
Riley back with possession. It's taken away by the Frenchman in Kabanek. Now to Kyle Lobo. Lobo, the 5'10 Brazilian, has been a big difference maker here for Emporia. Really generating a lot of key offensive opportunities. Pedro Frida now gets the ball free. Being fought for here by Kareem Gibson. The ball will roll out of bounds. It goes to Riley. A throw in there from Morlou Fobe. And it looked like Fobe was a little bit confused, because I think he was trying to set something up there and his teammate wasn't in position, or maybe there was something from the official.
Yeah, it looks like he signaled for a substitution, and they tried to play forward.
Substitutions coming in here for Emporia FC. Out onto the pitch, we have Joao Victor being joined as well by several teammates. We're going to try and keep track of all of them here as best we can. Again, this is why we have the preseason. We get the kinks worked out early. Gio Garcilazo out for the Black Lions.
And I'm sure this will be a bit different 'cause in season there are usually some substitution regulations, I would guess. But right now you're seeing a lot of rotation, just being in a comfortable situation in this scrimmage.
Well, and again, I think like you'd mentioned, you're just trying to kind of get a feel for where everybody's at.
Absolutely.
And, of course, Garcilazo, another native here to E-Town, an Emporia kid. One of 3 on the squad this year, which also includes the returning Mario Sandoval. Of course, Sandoval was the lead scorer for Emporia last season. Haven't really seen him take to the pitch just yet. Henry Munoz wearing the number 10 jersey here tonight. As Emporia back on the attack. They turn it over. It goes towards Nascimento, who again, reaching up, gets a handle on it, but he can't reel it in. It's going to go out of bounds, which means we'll see a corner kick here for Riley. And Riley, they've had a few corner opportunities, Jane, but they haven't really done anything with it. And right there, they just kind of go for the short pass as hitting the crossbar on the shot attempt. It goes out of bounds. They're going to definitely say it hit the crossbar as Nascimento again showing his hops. He almost got a hand on it, but thankfully didn't need it.
I think Riley will walk away from this game thinking, oof, we were close on a couple of occasions. If the ball just bounced a different way, I think they got a little more lucky. This could be a very different game.
Goal kick coming here for Nascimento. He'll just sweep it to the side over to George Heindel. Heindel now passing it over to Gustavo Vansot. I believe that's how you say that. Gabe, our good buddy Gabe down there, did a good job of writing down a lot of these names, but he messed up just one. I couldn't quite read it. Sorry, Gabe. Don't mean to call you out on the stream, but oh boy. Over 75 minutes gone here, approaching the 78-minute mark of this matchup. Again, Emporia FC has led the entire way thus far, as we'll get a throw in here from Riley. Handling the duties there will be Kareem Gibson. Heaves it right past his own player there. Good defense again by Emporia FC. Now on the boundary line with it. Trying to find some room is Gio Garcilazo. It's taken away by Riley in the form of Christian Barrera, a name we've said many times here for Riley this evening. He's been a presence down there. Hasn't really exerted anything. Nice dribble between the legs for Emporia, as they're kind of just moving it back and forth here right now, really trying to press and make Riley press, I should say, as Heindel will send it down the stretch. Nice header to stop the momentum by Kareem Gibson.
Yeah, Emporia are just having a bit of fun now. Like you can see, we've had a couple of interesting passes, some more creative moments, which you can do when you're up by 3.
You can have a little bit more fun, a little more freedom when it comes to that, absolutely. Approaching the 79-minute mark here with FC still in firm control. And we will get a whistle from the official. I didn't see the cause for it there. Did they just roll it out of bounds?
It was out of bounds, yeah. These markings are a bit difficult to see because there's a lot going on.
See, again, American football, I know when they're out of bounds. Still trying to keep track of that, but sending it down the stretch for FC is Joao Victor. It's taken back by Riley. Now they're trying to clear it out of their own zone. Good cutoff there by Gio Garcilazo, and he'll kick it back to the right side. Again, Emporia being very patient here with all of their possessions, not trying to waste anything here, looking for any opening they can exploit. Great side
chance.
pass there goes to Miguel Albuquerque. Albuquerque with a shot on goal, no good. I have to apologize, as actually I messed up there. That was Gustavo Varnesalt. Varnsite? That was Gustavo. Sorry, Gustavo. I'm trying, man. Again, I speak multiple languages, but apparently I can't read for the life of me. Trying to sound them out, man. Emporia with another opportunity to just get beaten, a little bit of a foot race. You talked about the angles there, Jane. The defender for Riley just able to come across, whereas Emporia was trying to catch up to the ball, just able to kind of catch cut the angle a little closer. It saved him some time.
Yeah, and Riley's done a good job trying to keep them away from goal and always kind of preventing the line to goal. But Emporia's just found ways through will to make it work.
Jeffrey Linares will come back on for the Black Lions. Coming off the pitch will be Alex Almeida. As Emporia back on the attack immediately with an opportunity there was Linares, but they're going to say offsides. Do my best Ted Lasso impression. Explain that to me. Explain to me how that's offsides.
You're giving Coach Beard energy.
Let's go, baby!
Great character.
Thank you. Emporia FC still up 3-0, and you can tell we're having a good time up here high atop the Lions' Den. Again, Tegan Terhune, Jane Grimley Gunn here on the headset and microphone, bringing you Emporia FC soccer as we are over the 80-minute mark of this matchup. Just about 9 minutes left to go here in regulation. We had 2 minutes of added time in the first half. Got to think we're probably going to have a little bit more than that after the stoppages we've had here in the second.
Yeah, and I think at this point, this game is nearly put to bed. It's just a matter of them really just controlling these final minutes.
I mean, would you say that the PK earlier was probably the dagger?
Yeah, unless early in the half Riley found a way to kind of regain some of that composure and create some chances, it was always going to be difficult.
Well, we like difficulty as long as it's going the other way.
I mean, it's a great, turn of events compared to last year, so I hope Emporia is feeling confident and excited given this result.
Absolutely. Coming out now for Emporia FC, 24, Jose Manuel. First time we've seen him on the pitch here tonight. Looking up our information here on Jose. Again,
Oh my God, sorry.
No, you're fine.
That was the worst throw-in I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry. Sorry, Riley FC, but that was bad.
I don't think anyone's going to have an issue with it. It
No,
wasn't the
it
team
was-
that you're paid to be here for, I guess. But as I was mentioning, Jose Manuel coming out for Emporia FC, the 19-year-old native of Mexico, listed at 6'2", so pretty lengthy. As now dribbling with it for FC. That is, that was Gustavo Vansalt. Handed it over to Gio Garcia-Lazo, and Garcia-Lazo had a bit of a talking to by the official. Not quite sure what was said to him, but it doesn't seem to have affected them too much.
No, my guess is I'm sure the referee is just trying to manage the game through these last minutes, and I'm sure there's some frustration. So.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Jane, I got to imagine that even, during a friendly like this, preseason matchup, that you said it at the top, every win is important.
Yep, for sure.
So even though some people might look at it as a throwaway game, this is definitely one that you want to be able to hang your head high on. Especially
if you did a good job the first go around, right, with a very competitive game where Riley FC managed to get the result. I'd be pretty disappointed in this situation.
Riley regains possession at midfield, working back into their own zone right now, just trying to find an opening. It looks like they're trying maybe a little tiki-taka style here, just a few passes around, trying to open up that midfield.
Yeah, and when they've kept the ball, they've done a decent job. It just hasn't been frequent or consistent enough, and really in the areas that it counts.
Jared Chavez tried to send it from one side to the other. It's cut off by Emporia FC, regained at midfield by Riley. Good job there by Linares to stop a pass from going through. Unfortunately, he couldn't pick up the loose ball. Thankfully, his teammates circle around it on the left side of the field. Now into the capable feet of Gio Garcia Lazo to get fired down towards the Riley goal and out of bounds. So that will do it for that opportunity as Jacob Baldry, the goalkeeper for Riley, sends it back into play. Another great opportunity generated there by Emporia FC. Unfortunately, the Riley defenders just a little bit too fleet-footed, stay in front of it. They cut off the opportunity. The ball worked free again back into the possession of Emporia FC. Now at midfield, it's fired over by Joao Victor. And we got a foot race down on the far boundary. As Linares broke it free. They fire the shot, and it just doesn't go. Give Baldry some big ups there. A good save there for the goalkeeper.
And there's just more chance creation, which is great to see from Emporia FC.
Well, and I want to give credit to Linares. As he's come off the bench, and he's done a really good job of finding some hard angles to generate passing opportunities and really get his guys into scoring position. As see the throw in here off the chest of the Black Lion there. Getting his chest on it there was Gustavo Varnselt. As another throw in coming for Riley. Good header there to send it the other way for FC, Emporia FC I should say, as Linares was definitely well ahead. He could have had a play on the ball, but I think if he had gotten a touch on it, we probably would have seen a flag in the air. That's the hard thing, though, is you want to try and stay ahead of the play as much as you can, but that offsides rule makes it very difficult to really get a good jump on the defender.
It sure does, and when Emporia FC has had success with it, they've been very careful and really exploiting those opportunities just by staying onside.
We are inside the final 3 minutes of regulation. We've just ticked over 87 minutes to play. Again, Emporia FC, a firm lead. They're going to walk away with a victory here tonight. Can't rule out maybe a late goal here for Riley, but in terms of them making up the 3-0 deficit, I think that you can probably put those worries to bed right now as Linares gets it off his chest at midfield. Riley trying to regain possession. They fire one desperately towards the net, and it'll be easily handled by Nascimento, who's done a great job in goal tonight here for the Black Lions. A few little miscues here and there, but nothing costly. As the ball bangs off the feet of Riley, it'll go out of bounds, and a throw-in will come for Emporia FC as we hit the 88-minute mark. Looking to put it in play. There it goes, and immediately cut off by Riley. Right there on the boundary with it, trying to dribble around, is Valje McLean. As looking to clear it out was Miguel Albuquerque, and Albuquerque bangs it off of his defender's shin. It'll be a goal kick here for Emporia FC as we have 90 seconds left to go in regulation.
And this is just where you want to keep it simple and not have any silly mistakes, because it would be very disappointing to lose the clean sheet for the goalkeeper.
Nice send down the length of the field. Emporia FC and a great opportunity to close this one out. Maybe with another shot on net, trying to get it into the set piece. Not the set piece, but trying to set up the scoring opportunity. Just unfortunately, Riley doing a great job of staying in front of it. 50 seconds remain in regulation. See how much added time we will have. As Emporia FC.
Ooh.
Nice little touch pass there from behind, but it's picked off by the Riley defenders. And they're pushing it back the other way. Ibrahima Diallo there with it for Riley. He gives it over to Valje McLean, who will throw it in right near midfield. Coming up to try and take it away was Joao Victor for Emporia FC. I've just been informed we'll have 6 minutes of added time. I will be honest, Javen about gave me a heart attack. He put a 1 and a 5 up, and I said, 15 minutes of added time? Wow!
Soccer's crazy. You never know.
I've seen a lot of crazy things. I've never seen that much added time in
No.
a soccer match, but hey, just gives us more time to practice our chemistry up top, I guess. So now over the 90-minute mark again, 6 minutes of added time, but it doesn't seem like it's going to make much of a difference here, as Emporia FC has done a great job of generating opportunities across midfield and up close in the Riley zone, but has been defending very well, and a lot of that credit has to go to Luan Nascimento, who he's made a few mistakes here and there, but really he's been solid in net there for the Black Lions, but also give it a lot of love to the two big defenders back there, Octavio Cruz and George Heindel. Heindel with a save earlier tonight, also Cruz, so they've been earning their time out there.
Yeah, they've honestly been really, really solid, and you can tell that chemistry is going to continue to flourish.
Well, and I mentioned it took a while until later in the season for them to build that chemistry. You got to think Coach Ibarra has to be very happy seeing that trust already blooming here between his players.
Yeah, and I think there has to be some confidence coming out of this game too, which can hopefully propel things moving forward.
Riley back on the attack, sending it into the Emporia zone. It bangs right off the head of Ibrahima Diallo, and I'm not sure if that was the intention, but just a little doink. And it'll roll out of bounds. Trying to keep it in was Valje McLean. And McLean has been very aggressive, especially there on the boundary lines here tonight. A little bit more fighting for possession. It's won by Emporia. Trying to go through is Gio Garcia Lazo. He'll send it to the right side of the field. Picked up by Emporia. Now on the feet of Joao Victor. Victor sends it to the left side, back to Garcia Lazo. Long shot, way over the top. It would have been good if it was a field goal, but it's no good for a soccer goal. Everyone's sitting there going, duh.
It's a good attempt, though, and I think if Emporia FC can keep creating solid chances, that's what they need to do now, because ultimately in the next game, if it's a bit more challenging, they're going to be a bit disappointed if they don't capitalize in moments that they're seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are about at the 3-minute mark of the added time. Again, 6 minutes of added time, which is not surprising considering how much stoppage we had here in the second half. Ball back into play right near midfield. Emporia still with that tiki-taka style, trying to open up some opportunities. It gets flung over to the left side.
We are seeing the game open up a bit more just in these final minutes. You can tell that Riley's a bit fatigued. They're just holding on for dear life, and Emporia are straying away from a bit of the hard-nosed possession, but really trying to find those gaps and go when it's there.
Well, and I would imagine this is a question that probably has to go person by person for the answer, but if you're up 3-0 and you're in added time, I mean, are you really looking to try and add another one to it, or are you, I mean...
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think it's not at this stage where right now it's so friendly. I think you're really just making sure you're applying the concepts, the coaching's coming through, the team tactics and principles are coming through, and maybe that results in a goal, but ultimately it doesn't need to.
Well, we had a collision down low. I saw the official's hand go up. I'm not sure if he was signaling. Did he give a card? I don't think
I didn't see it either.
I couldn't tell. I saw the hand go up. I didn't see a flash of yellow.
He's taking a note, so potentially.
Is that a booking?
Yeah.
We're getting the nod also from George, so I'm assuming that is a yes. Couldn't quite see who who it was levied against.
And this might be the final opportunity here for Riley to get one back and walk out of here feeling a bit more positive.
Taking the free kick here will be Miguel Martinez. Martinez, nice little trick play here, but it's not going to fool Emporia FC. They clear it out of their own zone. And then immediately jumping on the possession is Edwin Maciel. Maciel now into a foot race here, and he will not win it. Or maybe he will, as a little bit of a challenge. They both slide out of bounds. And they're going to say it's won by Riley, who hop right back to it, but 45 seconds remain in the added time. As Emporia, great job of regaining possession yet again.
They've been really solid in midfield, both keeping the ball and getting the ball back quickly.
Absolutely. Garcia Lazo had a touch on it as 30 seconds remain here in the added time. And, I mean, if I'm Riley, I'm probably not in a hurry to put back into play because you never know. And I think that's it.
That's it.
That is it. They're going to call it. Your final score here in this preseason opener, 3-0 to the Black Lions, and that's got to feel good after the last matchup being a 3-2 loss. So close yet so far. This one, well, we might be a little biased. Wasn't even close. Just shake that one off. 3 big goals here for the Lions. Does it as they walk off the pitch here at the Lions Den victorious. That's a great way to end a Monday here with an Emporia FC victory. We're going to go ahead and step aside for just a moment. When we come back, we'll get into our post-game coverage, get some final thoughts on the matchup with our expert here in Jane Grimley-Gunn, and we'll wait to get a word with a few Emporia FC players as well as head coach Victor Ibarra, get his thoughts on tonight's matchup. All that's coming up on our Emporia FC post-game show right here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Welcome back into high atop the Lions Den here. A big victory for Emporia FC, 3-0 over Riley FC to kick off the homestand here for the preseason. And we have some victorious Black Lions joining us here in the top of the Lions Den, including Luis Burin of Brazil joining us here. 2 goals on the night. First and foremost, how does it feel to get the win?
Pretty good. I feel pretty good. The team went pretty well. It was my second game with Emporia. I feel pretty good. Like, all the team was so technique. The guys were from the other team. They were pretty big, pretty fast. We cooked them. We cooked them.
We cooked them. I like that. That's the line right there. We cooked them.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, you know, we looked at the matchup here, and of course, Riley FC, they're a very big, very strong team. How much did opening up the opportunities in the midfield really help set you guys up?
Yeah, that's what Coach say. Like, space up the field because they were really big. The field is quite small, like, and we did really well this part. And yeah.
Well, let's ask the important questions here. Your first goal, I mean, comes up big there. Talk us through that opportunity and just what was going through your head both during that play and afterwards.
Yeah, I was thinking like kick the ball on the side of the goalkeeper, but then I realized no, if it was too close. If I just I didn't need to put too much like strength. Like it was just. And it was right there, and it went pretty good.
Did it kind of happen in slow motion a little bit?
Yeah, in slow motion, exactly. But it was a pretty good shot, yeah.
Well, then you obviously had the dagger on the night with that penalty kick early there in the second half. I mean, when you're facing somebody like that, I mean, Baldry, the goalkeeper, obviously he was stepping in for Guevara there after the first half. You hadn't gotten to see a lot of his movement just yet. What were you thinking? How were you trying to strategize for that opportunity?
I practice a lot of my penalties every day almost, so that's my way. I kick like really hard on that back post, so that's my way to play to kick the ball and with the penalty. So
when he tracked that, I mean, he was going forward. Were you confident you had enough speed on that to beat him?
Exactly. Yeah, I did.
Well, how does it feel to get your first win here on the Emporia State field?
Pretty good. It was amazing experience. My first game here. I love the fans. I appreciate you guys show up. It was really good. I really appreciate it all.
Well, Luis, we're looking for a lot more out of you this season. Congratulations on the victory and the 2 goals. I do have to ask, we were talking about it up here a little bit. Were you trying to work a little harder to get that hat trick?
Yes, I was.
It didn't matter if there was 1 second to go or 10 minutes. You were trying to get it.
I was pretty focused on that, but it didn't happen. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay, we're going to hold you to that. We expect a big
I'm going to work on that.
Fantastic. Luis, thank you so much. That is Luis Barin joining us here high atop the Lions Den, as we're also going to get in now Henry Munoz, who had the other goal on the night. I should say the third goal on the night. Henry coming to join us up here again. The final score, your Black Lions 3-0 over Riley FC, as Henry joining us here now in the booth. And, well, first and foremost, congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much for that.
So I got to coach here a little bit.
My first time here.
That's okay. We're going to make you a pro by the end of it, especially the way that you played here today. You know, I was talking to Luis a little bit. I know you got to hear some of his comments. Just talk us through the early part of that game. How long do you feel like it took you guys to really get into a rhythm?
Well, from the beginning, we knew that the team was going to be like really physical with us, and we just focus on keep the ball and pass the ball and find the space. Coach told me that I have to go to the middle of the park to let my wingers go through the space that I left behind, and well, pretty much that.
Well, Henry, you were on the ground a few times here tonight. You were taking a lot of contact and really generating some opportunities for some free kicks. What was it in your mind that was telling you just to kind of get in there and really mix it up with those guys? I mean, you were giving up some size to them. I mean, they're a big, rough team. I mean, were you concerned at all?
Well, I just tried to focus and try to go hard as them. And, well, fortunately, this went good for me.
Yeah. Well, you had one of the 3 goals on the night. Talk us through that moment and how good it felt to find the ball in the back of the net.
Well, as a forward, I always try to find the ball, to fight for the ball, because that was a ball that I didn't feel like I could get in my first touch, but I had to fight it for it. And well, technically I just faced the goal and I believe in myself, trust, and I just kick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that wins.
Well, we talk about the tiki-taka style that you guys like to play out there.
Yeah.
Are you used to that style? Is that something that you're really comfortable playing?
Yeah, yes. As a Latino, I like to play volleyball. I like tiki taka. Unfortunately, most of us we are from there, from Latin
Sure.
America, and pretty much that.
Fantastic. Well, how does this kind of energize you all going forward? You have another match on Wednesday back here at the Lions Den on the campus of Emporia State. I mean, how much has this kind of energized all of you to go out there and try and repeat what you did here tonight?
Well, always a win is a great feeling, and also if we are facing another game in 2 days, we're gonna keep working on that, and from now we're focused on that game.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win
Thank you
here
so much.
tonight. How does it feel to be out there on the big field here at Emporia State? I mean,
Well, this is my first game
Yeah.
with the team, with my coach, with my new teammates. Was an opportunity to show what I can give, what I can do. And well, on Wednesday we are gonna play against here. So yeah,
fantastic.
was a great feeling.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on the win, and we can't wait to see what you do on Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That is Henry Munoz joining us here high atop the Lions Den at Emporia State University. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have a conversation with the victorious head coach of your Emporia FC Black Lions in Victor Ibarra. So make sure you stay tuned. We have more of our post-game coverage coming up here on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Back high atop the Lions Den, a victorious Emporia FC football club here at Welch Stadium, coming off of a tie against Kansas State just a few days ago, coming out with a big 3-0 win over Riley FC. And Jane, from your experience, I got to imagine you're riding pretty high after a pretty dominating win like that.
I think there's no better feeling at this point, just so early in the season, that you have a bit of confidence, you have a bit of momentum, because it can be hard at the start if you're not finding that immediate success to really get the buy-in and belief that you want.
We talked to Luis and Henry just a moment ago, and they were talking about how they felt like everybody was kind of gelling together. Everybody was really playing that system that Coach Ibarra was wanting. Do you see that this early on in a preseason, especially for a team that's really brand new to playing together?
I think you see it in glimpses, but I think it's also catering to the players that they have and their past experience and the style of play that they're really embracing, which the boys kind of mentioned, that it's natural for them already, so it just makes that transition a little easier.
Well, and it's got to make it easier on the bench, too, for Coach Ibarra, knowing that his guys can play the system he wants them to play and they can execute it very effectively.
And that's like a part of the whole process, right, is finding players who are the right fit, and I'm sure Coach Ibarra has picked them for a reason.
Well, I like what Henry said, though, because that tiki-taka style is really popular amongst the Latin American players, and we have a lot of Latin American players on here, and even some of the players that aren't used to that style seem like they fit into it very well. I'm speaking, of course, of our token Frenchman in Jeremy Kabrick, and then, of course, Mr. Heindel, George Heindel there from Germany. I mean, that's not a style they typically would play.
No, but it's a fun one because you're on the ball a lot. You're able to be a bit creative at times and kind of make the opponent look silly. So I think you can lean into it and really enjoy it if you embrace it.
It's not only a confidence booster from the way that you're being able to play and execute and giving confidence in your style of play. It's also a confidence booster because you said you can kind of embarrass the opponent a little bit. And while you don't want to be a jerk for any stretch of the imagination, it's got to feel good knowing that you can kind of run circles around them.
And I think we saw a little bit of that today too, especially after the third goal. It was just a lot of hope had been lost, and Emporia really continued to truck on and showcase what they still were about.
Absolutely. Now, I think we're all a little disappointed that we didn't see a hat trick here tonight, but Luis telling us that we just need to stay tuned. He might get it next game. So that's confidence right there. I mean, he's definitely not upset about it. He's very happy with how he performed, and I got to imagine when you have a player like that that can score from those angles, and really you've got a pretty good sharpshooter from the PK perspective, you want him to have that kind of confidence that, well, I didn't get it, but I'm going to get it next time.
Yeah, if this is your first game, like your first home game, just imagine giving a little bit more consistency and experience, fitting in with the team, really starting to deliver on those things, then it'll all start to come together.
Okay, now I got to ask the big question here. Obviously, you guys play just a little ways over there with Emporia State Soccer. Any chance you might try and convince them to do a game out here on the?
I would love to. This is what you have to convince them, right? We have to get rid of these no offense track. The jump pits make the field too small, so we can't play a regulation game. So your options are turf that, get lights out here, make this a little bit wider.
See, she's already got a game plan there, folks. So hey, we might actually be seeing this happen. You never know. But I don't want to be held guilty for trying to make them do anything they don't want to do. That's all, Jane. I just threw out the question there, but nonetheless, Jane Grinley-Gunn making her debut as a color analyst will be joining us here throughout the regular season here for our home matches. So, Jane, if I was grading it, I got to give it an A+. You did a fantastic job.
Well, it can only go downhill from here.
That's the hope right now, yeah. Set the bar extremely high, and then, hey, all you got to do is just skate by from there. I made a whole career off of that. So we appreciate you joining us. We're going to wrap things up here with a quick word from Coach Victor Ibarra. We'll take a quick break, let him get set up, get his thoughts on tonight's matchup, look ahead to our match on Wednesday. And then we'll pretty much call it a night here. And what a good night it was. A 3-0 victory for Emporia FC over Riley FC to kick off the homestand here for the preseason. Make sure you stay tuned. We still have more coming here on our post-game coverage on the Emporia FC YouTube channel. Welcome back high atop the Lions' Den here at Emporia State University's Welch Stadium. Tegan Terhune, joined now by victorious head coach of your Black Lions, Emporia FC, Victor Ibarra. And, well, Coach, you got to be very pleased with the effort shown by your team here tonight.
The result was very good. I thought they handled the pressure for FC Riley really well. Then they got really impatient, and our midfield was able to really be composed and relax and able to build play. It was just a matter of executing a little bit better. But overall, I was very happy, and I appreciate for FC Riley coming over and playing with us.
Well, you know, we talked a little bit before the match started in the fact that they are a much bigger team in a lot of ways, and they're military. I mean, they're well conditioned and they are very disciplined. It seemed like you really got them out of sorts with that first goal, and it was kind of just downhill from there.
Yeah, so we played them for Veterans Day, and we kind of wanted to make a tribute match for them.
Yeah.
And we got physical with them, and that was not the way to go. This game, I specifically told the players, is like, hey, the field's very narrow. Yeah. So you have to play 1-2 touch. You got to make sure you're moving the ball constantly because they're just going to be fit. They're going to be physical, and so we don't want to play that style of ball. So we want to go ahead and move it, and I thought our guys were really good at being able to handle that pressure and ultimately just being patient and putting some goals away.
Well, it seemed like you picked the perfect style to play. You know, you guys play that kind of tiki-taka style a little bit there. We were talking about that throughout the match, and it seemed like everybody was very comfortable. Even some of the players, as we mentioned, you know, I was talking with Jane just a little bit ago, some of the players who traditionally wouldn't play that style. You know, you have your Frenchmen, your Germans, you have your British players. They typically won't play in that way, but everybody just seemed to mesh very well and felt very comfortable.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, we kind of have like the United Nations, and I'm recruiting very specifically to be able to handle the ball and be very technical. You saw some of the guys out there, they're physical. They can play that style ball, be very direct, but they got to be comfortable with the ball at their feet. Sure. It's that simple. Even Luan, our goalkeeper, he's one of the more technical players. He has to be comfortable with the ball at his feet. Now, that doesn't mean we can't be direct, but ultimately the guys have to make sure they're comfortable playing some football. We don't just want to become this one-dimensional team. If the other team happens to be more technical, can we be compact and stay in the back and make sure we're organized? If we need to pressure up top so we can take the ball away, can we go ahead and pressure the team correctly? So overall, I was very happy. We had a lot of moving pieces. You saw that very unconventional switch of a whole team.
Yeah.
And it takes a little while to kind of get. So it was a little bit of a tryout for some of the guys.
Well, you know, that was a question I wanted to ask you, and we were kind of talking about that here tonight, and the fact that it seemed like you were really just trying to get some guys some minutes, really see what they could bring, and you were really mixing in a lot of different pieces, looking at what you had in terms of combinations. I had said that sometimes for coaches, that can make the decision a lot easier when you get to the regular season. But based on the productivity of your team here tonight, I don't feel like you have an easier decision. It feels like it may have just grown a little bit more complicated.
We actually been recruiting guys quite a bit. So we have, I would say we were still missing like about 10 of our first team guys.
Wow.
So a lot of half of the team was still trying out. So we were able to put some of our core guys together. Actually, Henry traveled just so that way he could try out, and he performed well. Luis played with us at K-State, and he's coming from Pratt CC, and he performed well as well.
2 goals on the night. I would hope that's what your thought was.
So, you know, there's still guys that they cemented as first-team guys that weren't even here just because they're too far away.
Well, Coach, a very important win here for your team, especially considering the last time you guys matched up, it was a 3-2 win for Riley. And, you know, just kind of the scouting that we did there, it seemed like they did kind of outmuscle you guys a little bit. It didn't seem like they were able to really get that going here. And your guys stood toe-to-toe with them. I know you said you didn't want to be too physical with them, but every time that you matched up physically, it seems like you guys were coming out on the winning end.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I want to take pride in being able to switch up tactics whenever possible. And today, we just want to make sure that we wanted to move the ball well and make sure we exposed their inability to be able to keep up and track the ball. Just because you can't chase the ball for 90 minutes. Sure. And so you're going to get tired. And so we were able to kind of go from a congested area and exploit the spaces that were created from the good handling of our team. And then, you know, take on that space and be very dynamic, which Luis was able to do that very well today.
Well, Coach, you close out the preseason on Wednesday with Allen County coming into town. What do you know about them, and what are you expecting in that matchup?
I know them pretty well. Jeff T is actually our assistant coach. He's the head coach there. So we stay in touch quite a bit. We have several of the Allen County guys with us here today that we're trying out. So we know each other really, really well. I think it'll be a fun match. Hopefully the weather holds up, and it'll be entertaining, and we can see what the guys can do.
Coach, before we let you go, anything you want to say to the Lions pride of fans that were tuning in here tonight or came out for the match?
Well, first of all, I want to thank basically the whole production. I think we're taking the next step. We have Javen, yourself, we have Gabe, we have Yahida, we have Teresa, Michaela. It takes a whole entire village to make sure we keep this afloat. And I want to make sure to tell the fans that we want to represent Emporia as best as we can. We have our great sponsors like Emporia Fitness that helps the gym. We have ESU that is allowing us to be here. I think it's a really fun environment. I want to make sure I give a big shout out to everybody. Dr. Flanagan, I'm trying to think. Taco Zubara, right?
How could you forget Taco Zubara? My goodness, Coach.
I mean, they feed our players, so it's exciting. Adrian, who takes amazing pictures. So the idea is that we organically grow as a group, as a team, and we continue to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. It's something that Emporia is proud of, and so. I want to make sure I thank anybody who tuned in, and I hope they continue to tune in. I hope they're proud of the team, whether we win, lose, or tie. You know the result, but ultimately what comes of it organically is that sense of pride. No pun intended. But I just want to thank everybody and thank you guys for being here. And I'm very, very proud of being involved with such a unique group that wants to grow and become something special. Absolutely. So I hope they continue.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win here tonight. Good luck on Wednesday. We look forward to seeing how things turn out there.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much.
That is head coach Victor Ibarra of your victorious Emporia FC Black Lions here as they triumph 3-0 over Riley FC. Again, they will close out their preseason matchups right here in the Lions Den on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in and come on out for that matchup against Allen County. But for now, we're going to close things down. For Javen Arndt, of course, Jane Grimley-Gunn, myself, everybody here at the Emporia FC production. We appreciate you tuning in here tonight. Hopefully, we did you proud, and we'll continue to do so. We'll talk to you next time right here on the official Emporia FC YouTube channel.